Chapter 381. Kyungi is now unsealed. Texas, USA. Oh, found it. A hunter discovered plants that had grown to about the middle of his shin, bearing excessively large red fruits compared to their stems. Slice. Without hesitation, he cut the part connected to the red fruits with his sword. Thud, thud. He then stomped on the fallen fruits, crushing them. Then, you have defeated a young flesh-eater. You have gained 300 experience points. You have leveled up. You have gained 2 bonus stats. Messages appeared. Heh heh. This is my second level up today. Leveling up is really easy. The hunter laughed as he moved to find another flesh-eater. Meanwhile, the seeds inside the crushed red fruits began to take root in the ground. You have arrived at the 80th floor of the Black Tower. You have moved from the 99th floor, the topmost floor, to the 80th floor. You have descended 19 floors. All stats increased by 19 due to the effect of title, retrogressor. Sejun arrived at the 80th floor of the Black Tower. What kind of farm is this? As Sejun hurriedly tried to determine if there were any threats to his life nearby. Clank. Chairman Park, I missed you, meow. Theo opened the void storage and leapt towards Sejun's face. Hey, it hasn't even been 30 seconds since we separated from each other. Sejun moved as quickly as possible to dodge Theo's charge, but smack. It was all in vain. He was caught in Theo's pink jelly paw. Indeed, escaping Theo's clutches was impossible. Pew-hut meow. As Sejun grabbed Theo by the scruff of his neck to pull him off his face as Theo was smiling victoriously. Kyung. Kyungi wants to cling to Daddy's face too. Kaying. Catch me. Following Theo, Kyungi and Fenrir also jumped out from the void storage, launching themselves towards Sejun's face. Smack. Smack. As a result, Sejun wrestled with the kids for a while before he could figure out what kind of farm this was. Fruits with yellow stripes scattered on the ground. Oh, these are Korean melons. It was a Korean melon farm. Sejun excitedly picked one Korean melon. You have harvested a Korean melon. Your job experience has slightly increased. Your proficiency in harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You have gained 1 experience point. Messages appeared. Judging by the lack of modifiers and experience points, it wasn't an item. Heh, so what? Sejun wiped the melon clean with his clothes. Crunch. He removed only the stem and took a big bite of the melon with its skin. Oh, it's delicious. The skin wasn't tough, adding a crisp texture. The flesh part was slightly sweet with a crunchy texture, and the part with the seeds inside was sweet like sugar. As Sejun enjoyed the melon alone, exuding a sweet fragrance. Kyung. Daddy, Kyungi wants to eat too. Kaying. Give me some too. Me too. Kyungi, Fenrir, and Urin looked at Sejun with drooling mouths and earnest eyes. I wasn't trying to eat it alone. I was just checking if it was poisonous first. Sejun made a lame excuse out of embarrassment, but Kyungi will check from now on because he is strong. Kyungi, being a filial son, said he would check first from now on, looking concerned for Sejun. Kyung. Weak daddy might die from eating it. Hitting him with facts. Here, eat. Hit by the facts, Sejun, with a hurting heart, cut the Korean melon and gave it to the 3. A little while later. Kyung. Haha, it's delicious. Kahili kayang. Haha, I'm full, hey, rub my belly. Yuha, it's delicious. The 3 laughed contentedly after eating 100 melons. To be precise, Kyungi ate 50, Urin ate 49.75, and Fenrir ate 0.25. But why isn't the quest appearing? There was nothing unusual about the farm, nor were there any creatures occupying it, but the land deed quest did not appear. As Sejun was feeling puzzled, a quest has been generated. Quest: the Korean melons which have been ruthlessly killed and unable to grow properly, seek revenge for their fallen comrades. Capture the Korean melon thief. Reward, recognition as the rightful owner of the land deed. The land deed quest appeared. Melon thief. It's time for Detective Sherlock Sejun to step in. Pew hut. Then Assistant Theosin of Detective Sherlock Sejun will also step in, meow. Kyung. There's also Detective Kunan, colleague of Detective Sherlock Sejun. Theo and Kyungi quickly brought out their alter egos at Sejun's words. Culprits always return to the scene of the crime. You guys harvest melons and guard this place. Pio. Yes. Yes. Sejun had Piat and Yurin guard the melon farm. Toryang. Master. He called Toryang, intending to search for Fenrir's core fragment along the way. Let's go. Sejun and his party set out to find Fenrir's core fragment and the melon thief. Crunch crunch. Kyuhiha. Kivihit. Kyungi, Fenrir, and Sejun were eating the harvested melons on top of Toryang's head. It felt like a picnic. Toryang, do you want some melon too? Sejun wanted to give some delicious food to the hard-working Toryang, but, Master, I find soil the most delicious. To Toryang, who lived off eating soil, melons were not appetizing. Rumble. Toryang moved in a spiral trajectory centered around the farm, gradually getting farther away from it. After traveling for a while, north, the message appeared and then stopped. Toryang reverse. Sejun quickly called Toryang back to the previous location. A fragment of Fenrir's core has been detected 20 km north. He detected the signal of Fenrir's core fragment. Great. Toryang, run north. Master. Quackwing. Following Sejun's command, Toryang sprinted north at full speed. And then, roar. Black giant bear Rak, ruler of the Oran Mountain. They found Rak, a massive black bear 20 meters tall, with a black orb emitting red mist embedded in its forehead. Kayak. And roe deers that were at risk of being eaten by Rak. Should I call Ajax? As Sejun was contemplating whether to summon Ajax. Kyung. Kyungi will show the results of his special training. Kyungi stepped forward confidently. Kyung. Dad, shout unseal to Kyungi. Unseal. Kyungi doesn't have a seal though. Kyung. Just shout it anyway. It seemed Kyungi was envious that only Ajax had been unsealed. All right, Kyungi, unseal. When Sejun said it, Kyung. Kyungi is now unsealed. Bam! Kyungi kicked the ground hard and charged toward Rak. As Kyungi flew toward Rak, his body grew massive, and he reverted his weight, which he had lightened with his talent, light body movement. In an instant, Kyungi's height grew to 70 meters, and his weight increased by 1,000 times. Quang. Kyuang. Rak struck squarely in the face by Kyungi's gigantic paw, bigger than Rak's head, tumbled and rolled several times, trying to find balance to stable itself before falling collapsing. Kyuyang. Kyungi roared at the fallen Rak and quickly ran towards it. Quang. Headbutting Rak's face. Ouch. That must hurt. Sejun felt pity for Rak being crushed under Kyungi's massive body. Kyungi's headbutt was that powerful. Bam, quackwing. Kyungi then relentlessly punched Rak's face without stopping. The battle between the crimson giant honey bear and the black giant bear. No, it was a one-sided beating by Kyungi. Seeing this, Sejun's heart swelled with pride. A moment later. Kyulo. Kyung. I won. Kyungi roared victoriously, holding Fenrir's core fragment in his front paw, which he had taken from the forehead of the unconscious Rak. Then, thud thud. Kyungi approached Sejun. Kyung. Dad, Kyungi won because he unsealed. With eyes full of expectation, Kyungi boasted his victory to Sejun, wanting to be praised. Our Kyungi did very well. I'll give you a 5-star stamp. TL. Well, it might not be the case in other countries, but in South Korea, children are given stamps for excellent work performance, which is what Sejun is doing here. Sejun gave Kyungi the highest praise. Kyung, I'm excited. Kyungi beamed with a wide smile, thinking about receiving the 5-star stamp. Hee, cute little guy. Sejun smiled at Kyungi. Despite being a gigantic bear of 70 meters, Kyungi only seemed cute to Sejun. Your soul is filled with the sight of great cuteness. Mental strength has increased by 10. Sejun's thoughts were proven true as his mental strength increased, and by 10 points no less. Now let's shrink back. Though he found Kyungi adorable, constantly looking up was straining his neck. Kyung. Dad has to say seal. It seemed Kyungi wanted to maintain the seal concept from now on. Sure, if my son wants it, I'll go along with it. Seal. As Sejun spoke. Kyung. Kyungi began to shrink back. Kyung. Dad, here it is. Kyungi, now small again, held out his front paw with Fenrir's core fragment to Sejun. At that moment, Kyung. My core. Fenrir jumped from the sling bag, aiming for the core fragment. But, grab. Kyung. Hug. Sejun caught Fenrir and put him back into the sling bag. Fenrir was too slow to get the core fragment. Blackie, no, this is forbidden. Sejun teased Fenrir, calling it forbidden right in front of the core's rightful owner. Luckily, Fenrir didn't understand. Preventing Fenrir from taking the core, Sejun picked up the core fragment. Then, you have obtained a fragment of the door leading to the 10th tower. With the message, a brown wooden piece the size of a fist separated from the core fragment. He had obtained the 3rd piece of the door to the 10th tower. Oh, it's a 0.07% one. Sejun's voice was slightly surprised as he confirmed the power contained in Fenrir's core fragment. Ajax struggled with a 0.1% one, and Kyungi crushed a 0.07% one. Our Kyungi has gotten much stronger. It seemed the special training with the Minotaur King was very effective. Should I get special training from the Minotaur King too? Sejun thought about getting special training from the Minotaur King himself and put the core fragment into the void storage. But why do my legs feel empty? Feeling something was missing, Sejun looked at his knee and saw that Theo was not there. Where did he go? As Sejun was looking for Theo. Pew hut, Chairman Park, I've found slaves to work on the farm, meow. Theo appeared, excitedly waving slave contracts. It turned out he had gone to get hoofprints from the deer. At that moment, you have turned all Korean melon thieves into slaves. Quest completed. You have been recognized as the rightful owner of the Korean melon farm land deed on the 80th floor of the Black Tower. Land deed skill, farm information LV, max is now activated. A message indicating the completion of the quest appeared. Oh, so these guys were the Korean melon thieves. Thanks to the message, Sejun realized that the deer were the Korean melon thieves. In the end, Detective Sherlock Sejun has solved the cold case. Although Theo and Kyungi did the work, Sejun took the credit. Thus, Sejun managed to handle 2 tasks at once. Let's head back. Kayak. The deer responded to Sejun's words. Kuyuang. Even Rak, who had been unconscious, responded as he woke up. Theo had gotten Rak's print on the slave contract while he was unconscious, making him a slave. Theo was truly diligent and thorough when it came to making slaves. After returning to the farm, Sejun had the slaves manage the farm. Let's go home. Sejun, taking the harvested melons from Piat and Urin, returned to the 99th floor of the tower. And then, you have arrived at the 99th floor of the Black Tower. As soon as Sejun arrived on the 99th floor, Sejun, Ramter, who had been eagerly waiting at the waypoint, called out desperately for Sejun. Chapter 382, Vice Chairman Theo, do you know your crime? Black Tower Administrator Zone. Mid-level administrator of the Black Tower and Tower Farmer Park Sejun's Dragon Warrior Helmet Cavalry has defeated 10 Flesh Eater of the 8th Calamity. Mid-level administrator of the Black Tower and Tower Farmer Park Sejun's contribution have increased by 10 points. Mid-level administrator of the Black Tower and Tower Farmer Park Sejun's subordinate Theo's slave has defeated a flesh-eater of the 8th calamity. A slave's contribution belongs to the master, and a subordinate's contribution belongs to the superior. Mid-level administrator of the Black Tower and Tower Farmer Park Sejun's contribution have increased by 1 point. The notifications indicating Sejun's increasing contribution points kept appearing on the crystal orb. Kehe, let's see how much our Sejun's contributions have accumulated. Aileen, who was watching the crystal orb, checked Sejun's contributions. Then, Black Tower 4th floor Flesh Eater Extermination contributions. First place, Park Sejun, 11,499,712. Second place, Han Taejun, 2,812. Third place, Leon, 1,729. The contribution rankings displayed on the crystal orb showed Sejun's contributions overwhelmingly in first place. It was natural, because when the Dragon Warrior Helmet Cavalry, Black Skeletons, and Theo's slaves on the 4th floor of the tower defeated the Flesh Eaters, all the contributions went to Sejun. You have defeated 17,211 Flesh Eaters on the 4th floor of the Black Tower. There are 2,811,918 Flesh Eaters remaining on the 4th floor of the Black Tower. The number of Flesh Eaters on the 4th floor of the Black Tower has decreased by 7 compared to 24 hours ago. Good, it's stable. Thus, Aileen was monitoring the number of Flesh Eaters on the 4th floor of the tower, leaving them be for Sejun's contributions. I need to gather contributions to make Sejun stronger. Thus, unbeknownst to Sejun, a contribution factory on the 4th floor of the Black Tower was running non-stop for 24 hours a day without rest. 99th floor of the Black Tower. What? You want to serve my food at a meeting attended by the 9 dragon heads? Yes, it's 11 days from now. At Sejun's question, Ramter nodded enthusiastically. Is this a good thing? Sejun pondered if there was any danger to him because of this. It wouldn't happen, but what if the food he made didn't suit the taste of the leader of the Golden Dragons? Naturally, the leader of the Golden Dragons, after eating the terrible food, would be furious. How dare you make such terrible food, Park Sejun die. He would curse Sejun and send killing intent his way. Then Sejun would be done for. It was best to refuse. As Sejun continued to think negatively. Hut, Ramter Nim, our chairman Park is a precious being, meow. Theo, who had come out of the void storage, clung to the back of Sejun's head and shouted. Of course, I, the great red dragon Ramter Zahir, promised to treat our Sejun with the best of treatment. Hut, Ramter Nim, then how much will you pay for the best treatment, meow? Theo asked, rubbing his front paws together as Ramter made promises with his name on the line. I haven't agreed to it yet. Thanks to this, it became difficult for Sejun to refuse Ramter's offer. When I think about it, my food isn't so bad as to make someone angry. He broke free from his negative thoughts. And then, what should I make to receive praise from the leaders? Sejun's thoughts turned to making delicious food, receiving praise from the dragons, and increasing his mental strength. While Sejun was pondering what menu to create, the negotiations between Ramter and Theo were reaching their final stages. Hut, Ramter Nim Chairman Park is very expensive, meow. Offer more, meow. All right, I'll give you 100,000 scales of the Great Red Dragon, 1 ton of the Great Red Dragon's claws, and 10 kg of the Great Red Dragon's horns. No more than this. Deal, meow. Finally, the deal was made. With those materials, it seemed possible to build a house using the dragon's body parts combined with the existing materials. Should I really build a house? While Sejun was imagining building a house using dragon scales and claws in his head. Hut, Chairman Park, did I do well, meow? Theo, who had finished the negotiation, wagged his tail and looked at Sejun. Praise me quickly, meow. Yes, you did well. Ramter Nim, I won't let you down. Sejun patted Theo's head and spoke confidently to Ramter. Piwahaha. Good. Then I look forward to a grand feast that 10,000 great dragons can eat. Satisfied with Sejun's words, Ramter laughed and left. Yes, goodbye, 10,000. But didn't you say the meeting was only for the leaders of the 9 dragons? As Sejun was startled. Hut, Chairman Park, I told Ramternim to invite many dragons to show off your greatness, meow. Theo, smiling innocently, looked at Sejun with a face that said, did I do well, meow? Hut, I've already signed the contract, meow. Theo showed the contract he made with Ramter, which had a terrifying clause about death upon violation. Of course, the contract bore Sejun's sign on it. The great Chairman Park can do everything, meow. Theo always carried a bag of contracts with Sejun's sign on them. Haha, really? So our vice chairman Theo did that. Hut, that's right, meow. Theo, who lacked any sense, thought Sejun was praising him and perked up his ears, answering in an excited voice. Hee, Vice Chairman Theo, do you know your crime? Squishy. Sejun expressed his anger by gripping Theo's cheeks tightly. Chairman Park, I'm sorry, meow. Theo, having learned from many experiences that Sejun grabbing his cheeks meant he was angry, immediately apologized. Why is Chairman Park angry, meow? Theo hurriedly tried to think why Sejun was angry. Then he came to the wrong conclusion, thinking, Chairman Park must be angry because I invited too few dragons, meow. Chairman Park, calm down, meow. I'll go to Ramternim and ask him to invite 10,000 more, meow. So Theo tried to calm Sejun by inviting more dragons. What, you're going to invite 10,000 more dragons? It only fueled Sejun's anger further. Chairman Park, I'm sorry, meow. As a result, Theo suffered Sejun's wrath even more, getting his cheeks pinched for almost over an hour. My cheeks are numb, meow. While Theo was rubbing his cheeks with his front paws. 10,000 dragon servings. How many servings would it be if one dragon serving was calculated as a human serving? Sejun started calculating how many servings he needed to prepare. Previously, Kaiser ate about 3,000 roasted sweet potatoes and said it was a decent meal. Assuming the average dragon eats only half of what Kaiser does, he would have to calculate one dragon portion as 500 human servings. Then, calculating one dragon portion as 500 human servings, 10,000 dragon servings would be 5 million human servings. Is this even possible? First, it seemed necessary to secure ingredients for 5 million servings. First, I need to harvest the grapes. As soon as Sejun returned to the farm, he started harvesting the grapes hanging from the grapevine. You have harvested one bunch, 25 grapes of vitality-infused fragrant grapes. Your job experience has increased very slightly. Your proficiency of harvesting LV8 has increased very slightly. You have gained 1,750 experience points. Hezeli. Sejun's mouth widened with joy at the substantial experience points. You have leveled up. You have gained one bonus stat. Your strength has increased by 10. Thanks to this, he leveled up to 85. I'll harvest the rest tomorrow. Sejun stopped his work as the sky darkened and began to take care of the remaining tasks. First, he planted a 0.07% piece of Fenrir's core at the location of the thick darkness cherry tree, and in the empty field, he planted melons. Oh right, I have this too. Sejun checked the damaged jewel of the earth in his pocket. Jewel of the earth. Inside his pocket, the damaged jewel of the earth had been completely restored. God, please give me something good. Sejun carefully buried the jewel of the earth in the ground and took out another damaged jewel of the earth and put it in his pocket. Then he ate some medicinal mugwort and went to bed early. The next morning. All right. As Sejun woke up, the seal of the jewel of the earth has been broken. Sans, the god of sand, who was sealed in the jewel of the earth, is released from the seal. Sans, the god of sand, repays the favor to the one who released his seal. Sans, the god of sand, spread sand over a 3.3 square meters area to repay his debt. Suns, the god of sand, who was trapped in the jewel of the earth, had been released. Heh sand. Is it golden sand? Although the message seemed trivial, Sejun excitedly went to the area where the sand was spread. And then, oh, golden sand. As Sejun had expected, it was golden sand. Thank you, god of sand, Sunsnim. I will build a shrine for you. Sejun prayed in gratitude to Suns, and paved stones on the 3.3 square meters path. Sans Road. Suns, the god of sand who repaid us with golden sand. He was a dazzling god. Sejun created the Suns Road, inscribing the achievements of Suns. I should make breakfast. Realizing he had delayed his tasks while making the Suns Road, Sejun hurried to the kitchen to cook. Thus, the farm on the 99th floor of the tower became quiet. Kyung. Just one more 5-star stamp and I'll have all 10. Kyungi, heading to the kitchen, looked proudly at the paper with 9 5-star stamps. When he collects all 10 stamps, he will receive 1,000 tower coins as pocket money. Then Kyungi will have saved 10,000 tower coins. Kyung. I need to help Dad quickly and get the stamp. Kyungi carefully folded the paper and put it in his snack pouch. At that moment, thud, Kyungi's pocket money pouch fell out of his pouch. Kyungi hurried to pick it up, but his pocket money pouch disappeared. Kyungi's money is gone. Kyungi started crying loudly and began digging at the ground where his pocket money pouch had disappeared, partially destroying the Lee Road. Seed Shop Headquarters. 10 mushroom ants, tenant farmers of Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun, have passed by your shrine. Divine power increases by 0.001. Ho, the mushroom ants are diligent as always. So busy. As Lee was smiling broadly at the messages about the divine power increased by the mushroom ants, herbalist Kyungi of Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun has passed by your shrine. Divine power increases by 1. Kyungi had passed through the Lee Road. Did Kyungi come to pray in the morning? Lee thought that Kyungi, who passed by the Lee Road every morning, was praying for her. At that moment, herbalist Kyungi of Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun offers 9,000 tower coins as a sacrifice to your shrine. Do you accept the offering? A message appeared. Yes, of course I should accept it. Lee nodded vigorously. The offering has been accepted. Divine power increases by 0.9. Lee's divine power increased in proportion to the value of the offering. Oh, how long has it been since I received an offering? As Lee wore a touched expression, herbalist Kyungi of Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun has partially destroyed your shrine. The amount of divine power you can receive decreases. Herbalist Kyungi of Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun has partially destroyed your shrine. Your shrine has been completely destroyed. A message appeared stating that the shrine had been destroyed by Kyungi. No, why did you destroy it? Wasn't that money given to me? Lee was on the verge of tears. Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun has built a shrine for you. Fortunately, Sejun, who heard Kyungi's cries, rushed over, comforted Kyungi, and restored the Lee Road. Chapter 383. I've received many stamps from the slaves, meow. Time to get to work. After having breakfast, Park Sejun went to Pottery to harvest the grapes left from yesterday. Kurorong. On Sejun's back was Kyungi, who had fallen asleep while whining. Even though Sejun had given him an allowance, the mental shock of losing his allowance seemed quite severe. Of course, Kyungi wasn't the only one clinging to Sejun's body. In the sling bag on his chest was Fenrir, and on his lap sat Theo. Am I some kind of koala? Sejun lightly lamented his situation and then, Good morning, Pottery. He greeted Pottery. Yes, good morning, Sejun Nim. Pottery responded to Sejun's morning greeting in a polite voice. Since becoming a world tree, Pottery's voice had always carried an air of arrogance, but starting from yesterday, it had suddenly reverted to its old self. Thanks to this, Sejun felt relieved of the burden and chatted with Pottery about various things while harvesting grapes. Then, Pottery, by the way, how can our Flamey become a world tree? Sejun asked Pottery, who had become a world tree, for career counseling for Flamey. What a world tree! Pottery was greatly flustered by Sejun's question. The flustered response implied Flamey Nim has already surpassed the world tree, but Sejun took it differently. Does our Flamey have no hope of becoming a world tree? Sejun misunderstood and continued to harvest grapes silently afterward. After harvesting the grapes, Sejun went to the winery to make grape wine for the dragon meeting. Normally, it would be impossible to make grape wine in 10 days, but fermentation. Using fermentation LV. 4. Due to the effect of fermentation LV. 4, the fermentation period is reduced by 1 day. Due to the effect of fermentation LV. 4, the process slightly speeds up. Due to the effect of fermentation LV. 4, the flavor slightly deeper. Your proficiency in fermentation LV. 4 slightly increases. Sejun had the fermentation skill he had diligently leveled up until now. With the fermentation skill reaching level 4, he gained an effect that allowed him to shorten the fermentation period by 1 day once a day. After maturing the grape wine this way, Sejun also made samyeonju with the golden rice. Until now, Sejun had made samyeonju using rice flour obtained from wealth-devouring rice dough. Now that he had plenty of rice, he wanted to try making samyeonju with his own crops. As Sejun steamed the cooked rice to use in the base liquor. Kyung, is it time to eat? Kyungi woke up to the savory smell. Kyungi, are you hungry? Kyung. Yes, Kyungi is hungry. Kyungi responded confidently to Sejun's question. What is this confidence for? Here, eat this for now. Sejun peeled an egg fruit and handed it to Kyungi. Kyungi ate it deliciously. At that moment, Fenrir tapped Sejun's chest with his front paw, calling him. Kaying. I want to eat that too, give it to me quickly. All right, here. When Sejun quartered the egg fruit and gave a piece, Fenrir began to eat it hungrily. Chairman Park, I want the yolk too, meow. Theo, true to his habit of aiming for power, only eats the yolk. Got it here. Sejun gave the yolk to Theo and ate the white himself. While the 4 of them ate the egg fruit, the cooked rice was ready, and Sejun put the base liquor in a jar, then went to the kitchen to prepare lunch. First, let's wash the rice. When Sejun poured water into the bowl of rice. Kyungi will help Daddy too. Kyungi, eager to receive the last 5-star stamp and get his allowance, raised his front paw and shouted. Okay, then Kyungi wash the rice. Got it, Kyungi will wash the rice well. Kyungi answered and, after cleaning his front paws, began washing the rice. In the meantime, Sejun took out egg fruit and vegetables from the void storage. Today's lunch menu was fried rice topped with a fried egg and omurice. Oh, I need to take out the tomato sauce too. When Sejun took out a glass jar of tomato sauce from the void storage. Daddy, I finished washing the rice. Kyungi, who had finished washing the rice, called out to Sejun. Okay, got it. When Sejun placed the washed rice in the cooker. Kyung. Haha, Kyungi did a good deed, so he gets a stamp. Kyungi, who had been waiting, eagerly handed over a paper with sparkling eyes to get a stamp. Good job, you've received all your stamps, so here are 1,000 tower coins. Kyung. Haha, Daddy, thank you. When Sejun gave him the money. Kyung. Haha, big brother, do you need anything? Kyungi got 10 stamps and received his allowance. Kyungi boasted about his allowance to Theo. What, do you get an allowance every time you collect 10 stamps? Kyung. Yes. Hut. Hearing Kyungi's response, Theo smiled brightly. When it comes to stamps, I, Vice Chairman Theo, am the best, meow. I've received many stamps from the slaves, meow. Though he hadn't counted the stamps on the slave contracts, it was easily over 100,000. Chairman Park, I, your vice chairman, have also received many stamps, meow. So give me the overdue allowance, meow. Confident Theo demanded his allowance from Sejun. Those stamps are different from these. Sejun tried hard to explain the difference. I don't know about that, meow. Give me the overdue allowance, meow. But Theo had no intention of understanding. All right. After explaining for a long time, Sejun gave Theo 1 million tower coins as an allowance. Hut, I got my allowance too. Theo carefully put the allowance he received from Sejun into his bundle. In the meantime, the rice was done. Dedada. Sejun started cooking by chopping vegetables. He put chopped onions, carrots, and other vegetables into a heated frying pan, stir-frying them with butter and ketchup, mixing them well. After mixing the vegetables well, he added rice and stirred it again to make fried rice. Then he put the fried rice in a large frying pan with beaten eggs, wrapping the rice with the eggs to complete a giant omelette. It's done. Here, Kyungi, draw whatever you want on the eggs. When Sejun gave Kyungi the tomato sauce to drizzle on the omelette, Kyungi eagerly started drawing. Kyung. Hehe, Kyungi will get another 10 5-star stamps and receive an allowance. Kyungi earnestly drew 50 stars. Kyungi was serious about the stars. Kyungi finished the drawing. Then let's eat. Kyung. Got it. Kyungi happily ate the omelette at Sejun's words. Blackie, enjoy your meal too. Sejun put omelette in Fenrir's special bowl and gave it to him, then started eating. After finishing lunch, Theo and Kyungi, please go catch some fish. Hut, got it, meow. When it comes to fish, I, Vice Chairman Theo, am the best, meow. Kyung. Got it. Sejun sent Theo and Kyungi to catch fish and went to the kitchen to make rice dough for Garidiok. Sejun began preparing food for 5 million servings for the dragon's meeting. After a while, thunk. Guard Theo has defeated a giant tuna. You've gained 5,000 experience points, which is 50% of the experience points earned by Guard Theo. Herbalist Kyungi has defeated a giant mackerel. You've gained 7,000 experience points, which is 50% of the experience points earned by Herbalist Kyungi. As Sejun was kneading the rice dough, messages appeared before his eyes. Messages appeared almost every second. Were there always this many fish in the pond? Sejun, unaware that Flamey's roots were driving monsters from the sea into the pond, was puzzled. Level up. You have gained 1 bonus stat. Strength increased by 10. Thanks to this, Sejun leveled up comfortably while kneading the rice dough. Since the amount that needed to be made was enormous, even after making dough again and again, there was still a lot left to make. And then, Chairman Park, we brought the fish, meow. Kyung. We caught a lot. When Sejun saw the fish that Theo and Kyungi had brought, this isn't going to work. He realized that it was impossible to prepare 5 million serving with just this team. Summon the slaves. So he summoned Ajax, Veronica, Zelga, and Auric and assigned roles to each of them. Kyungi and Ajax knead the rice dough for Garidiok. Theo and Veronica handle the fruits. Zelga and Auric prepare the fish. After assigning the tasks, Sejun stirred the liquor in the jar at the brewery and returned. Hey, who's prepares the fish like that? He shouted at Zelga, who was completely mashing the fish instead of just cleaning it. No, this is how to make the extract. Who said to make the extract, just remove the guts. Yes. Kekek Sejun Nim, I was doing it properly. Auric grinned slyly at Sejun, who was scolding Zelga, showing the fish he had prepared. Good, you're doing well. Kekek, thank you. Zelga, this is how you do it. Sejun taught Zelga how to clean the fish again. Just as he was about to get back to his own work, Sejun witnessed a horrifying scene. Scratch, scratch. Auric scratched his butt, then picked his nose, scratched his ear, and continued to handle the fish with the same hand. Auric. Kekek, yes, what is it? Who told you to touch the food with hands that you scratched your butt, picked your nose, and scratched your ear with? Kekek, is that a problem? Auric asked in a voice that implied he didn't understand what the issue was. Apparently, goblins had no concept of hygiene. You're eating all of that. Kekek, oh, thank you. Auric eagerly took the fish, even the ones Zelga had mashed. Was this his plan all along? Kekek. Sejun thought as he watched Auric's sly smile. After that, Sejun assigned Auric to garbage cleaning. 2 days passed just processing the ingredients. On the 392nd day, the blue moon, which Sejun was encountering for the 14th time since entering the tower, rose. A blue moon in the dark night sky. Finally, the background befitting the name Blue Moon was set. It's beautiful, Sejun spoke as he looked at the blue moon. At first, it was a terrifying moon that caused monsters to rampage, but now, it was just a beautiful moon. Hehe, it's also a moon that makes the crops better. Swish, swish. Sejun smiled contentedly as he looked at the fields where blue energy was forming. At that moment, Stella Hisron, the great silver dragon and the 10th tower's helper, has sent a voice message orb. Receiving the voice message orb requires 1 million tower coins. Would you like to receive the voice message orb? A voice message orb sent by Stella had arrived. She really sends these diligently. I'll accept it. Sejun received the voice message orb. As 3 pieces of the door leading to the 10th tower have been collected, the door connects imperfectly. You can now send a reply to Stella Hisron, the great silver dragon and the 10th tower's helper. A new message appeared before Sejun. I can send a reply. Moreover, sending a reply didn't cost him any money. Then I'll send this. Sejun sent the voice message orb that Stella's mother, Chrysella Hisron, had requested to Stella. And so, the voice message orb went to Stella. HMPH, finally a reply. Stella played the voice message orb. And then, you bastard, how dare you mock me? Stella was enraged after listening to the voice message orb. Somehow, instead of Chrysella's voice, the voice message orb contained an hour of Sejun and his companions playing around for an hour. It was Sejun who had accidentally infused the voice message orb with magic power, activating the recording spell. Chapter 384, Sausages Growing on Trees. Aileen, tell Chrysalanum that I've sent the voice message orb and give this to her. The tower's administrator says okay. Sejun handed Aileen the voice message orb sent by Stella. And then, hehe, shall we start the harvest? Kyungi, let's go. Kyung. Sejun, along with Kyungi, started harvesting the crops imbued with the energy of the blue moon. Due to the large scale of the farm, there were many blue-colored crops to harvest. Other tower farmers returned to their respective towers, as the blue moon also appeared in other towers when it rose. You have harvested magical cherry tomatoes imbued with the energy of the blue moon. Your job experience has increased slightly. Your proficiency of harvesting LV8 has increased slightly. You have gained 500 experience points while harvesting cherry tomatoes. I'm thirsty. Feeling thirsty, Sejun ate one of the cherry tomatoes. Num. You have consumed a magical cherry tomato imbued with the energy of the blue moon. Your magic power has increased by 5. Haha, the effect is good and it tastes great. Kyungi, it's delicious, right? Kyung. Yes, it's really delicious. Kyungi, who was harvesting the cherry tomatoes imbued with the energy of the blue moon with Sejun, nodded vigorously while eating the cherry tomatoes. Sejun and Kyungi continued harvesting, while occasionally snacking on the crops imbued with the energy of the blue moon. In total, they were able to harvest over 2,000 blue-colored crops. Let's go to sleep now. Kyung. Got it, Kyungi is going to sleep, Good night, Dad. Kyungi bowed at a 90-degree angle to Sejun and ran to the pink fur's house. Mio Chairman Park, let's go to sleep too, meow. Theo, who had been waiting clinging to Sejun's leg waiting for him, yawned and whined. Haha, yeah, let's go to sleep. Sejun, seemingly infected by Theo's yawn, yawned as he headed to the bedroom. At that moment, the seal of the jewel of the earth has been broken. Mud, the god of mud, who was sealed within the jewel of the earth, is released from the seal. TL. Like before, the author has used the English word mud as the name of the god, so the translation will also be mud. The phrase god of mud in Korean translates to god of mud in English. Mud, the god of mud, repays the favor to the one who released his seal. Mud, the god of mud, lays down mud bricks on a 3.3 square meter path to repay the favor. A message appeared in front of Sejun's eyes. Mud bricks. I need to check this out. Excited, Sejun, who had received rewards from the god of pebbles and the god of sand in the past 2 days, went to find the place with the mud bricks. They really are mud bricks. Contrary to Sejun's expectations, there were no jewels or gold. There were only dark-colored mud bricks. Is there something inside the brick? Thinking there must be something inside the brick, Sejun broke the brick in half. Despite being a brick, it was not hard at all. And then, what is this? There were no jewels or gold inside, as Sejun had hoped. Instead, a sweet scent began to waft out. Not just any sweet scent, but a luxurious one. Why is there such a smell from a mud brick? Could it be? With a slight suspicion, Sejun carefully licked the mud brick. Surprised by the taste of the mud brick, Sejun began to munch on the brick. After eating the entire mud brick, he carefully stored the bricks in the void storage. Land moving. With gratitude. Mud Road. Mud, the god of mud who repaid us with chocolate bricks. He was a sweet god. Sejun created a 6.6 square meter mud road for the god of mud. Chocolate. I'll eat it again when I wake up. Imagining eating chocolate in the morning, Sejun ate some medicinal mugwort and fell into a deep sleep. Black Tower Administrator's Area. Our Sejun's contribution points are rising well. Aileen checked Sejun's contribution points through the crystal orb and smiled with satisfaction. And then, Sylvia Unnai, we have a new crop this time. It's called Korean melon. She promoted the Korean melon while writing letters to the hatchlings. Aileen was very busy these days, managing the tower, handling the contribution factory on the 4th floor, and customer service. Send. After sending the letter to Sylvia, Aileen was about to write a letter to Hocus when thud, a giant silver dragon landed in the administrator's area. It was Chrysella Hisron, Stella's mother. Chrysella visited every 2 to 3 days to ask about Stella and buy Sejun's crops. She especially liked the wind cabbage. Grandma Chrysella, hello. Aileen, who was writing a letter, ran over to greet Chrysella. Yes, do you have any news about our Stella? Yes, and my Sejun has also sent the voice message orb to Aunt Stella. Aileen answered, taking out the 3rd voice message orb sent by Stella. Really? You didn't listen to it, did you? Chrysella asked nervously. The voice message orb definitely contained Stella's harsh swearing, and it would be a disaster if Aileen listened to it. My daughter's marriage. Of course not, please check it. Aileen handed the voice message orb from Stella to Chrysella. All right, there are no traces of it being played, and you said he sent the voice message orb I gave you too. Yes. Then could you deliver this one as well? Chrysella asked Aileen to deliver a new voice message orb. It contained Chrysella's nagging, telling Stella to stop swearing. After finishing her business, Chrysella said, Aileen, could you give me some wind cabbage and the usual items? Yes. She bought Sejun's crops, paid Aileen 31 billion tower coins and left. The next morning. All right. Sejun, who had woken up, lifted his upper body. Meow. And put Theo on his knee, before getting out of bed. Heh, they say eating chocolate in the morning is good for health. Recalling a piece of news favorable to him, Sejun opened the void storage and went inside. Then he picked up a chocolate brick, broke it into pieces with his hands, and put a piece in his mouth. Heh, sweet, very sweet. Sejun came out, smiling happily at the sweetness of the chocolate melting in his mouth. As he was walking around the farm, the tower's administrator says that Grandma Chrysella asked to send another voice message orb. Aileen spoke to him. Really, I can send as many as she wants. Sejun received the voice message orb from Aileen. I'll send this to the great silver dragon Stella Hisron, the 10th tower's helper. He sent it to Stella. But you lack the magic power to open the gate to the 10th tower. Nothing came easy for Sejun. What he had sent yesterday was using the passage Stella had opened. In other words, he had hitchhiked. It won't work. Sejun gave up immediately and went to the kitchen to make breakfast. A little while later, summoned the slaves. After eating breakfast, Sejun summoned Ajax, Veronica, Zelga, and Auric again to prepare the ingredients. There were still enough ingredients left to prepare for 3 million servings. Sejun, along with Theo and Kyungi, diligently prepared the ingredients as well. While everyone was busy preparing the ingredients. Is our Sejun so busy these days? Exactly what is he doing? Amount he's preparing is huge. As the dragons were drinking at the fountain, they curiously watched Sejun. Ha ha ha, it's because Sejun made a contract with me. Ramter laughed heartily as he spoke. A contract. Sejun's busyness is because of the dragons meeting. Something seems off. There are 9 of us, but the amount Sejun is preparing is enough to feed 10,000 dragons. Right, isn't there something else going on? Ha ha ha, no, it's true. Sejun said he would make enough food for 10,000 dragons. What, 10,000? But why didn't he tell us? Should he? It's for my kids anyway. Ramter, who often ate delicious things alone, felt guilty about being the only one eating Sejun's food. So he wanted to take this opportunity to feed Sejun's food to the other great red dragons. But what? That's not fair. Kids have mouths too. The other dragons strongly protested. Their feelings were the same as Ramter's. Okay, then just bring 10 each. So Ramter conceded a bit. You kidding? Only 10, I will bring 1,000. To 1,000. They stubbornly insisted on bringing 1,000 dragons each. Okay, but make sure not to spread the word. Got it. Heh, I'll keep my mouth shut. Don't worry, I'm known as tight-lipped here. Ramter made them promise to keep it a secret and gave his permission. However, Kehe, Hocus Opa, our Sejun is making food for the dragons meeting this time, so make sure to go and eat. Aileen informed the hatchlings that there would be plenty of food at the upcoming dragons meeting. Moreover, Grandma Brachio at the upcoming dragons meeting. She told the customers of Dragon Market as well. Out of the 10,000, about 1,000 would be our share, right? As a result, each dragon clan started picking dragons to bring to the meeting, assuming they would have their share. 3 days later. Heh, sweet. Kyuha kyuang. Hee, that's sweet. In the late afternoon, while Sejun and Kyungi were sitting together eating chocolate and resting. The seed shop is now open. Park Sejun Nim's rank is extraordinary. The 11th seed shop opened. 5 types of seeds available for sale today are shown randomly. At the current rank, you can buy as many seeds as you want within 50 tower coins. And then, Sausage Tree Seed 1, 50 tower coins. Sugarcane Seed 10, 45 tower coins. Blueberry Seed 10, 22 tower coins. Paprika Seed 20, 15 tower coins. Cabbage Seed 50, 10 tower coins. The items appeared. This time too, the prices were a bit higher than before. But, ate a sausage tree. Sejun's gaze was fixed on the top line. Sausages growing on a tree, that's impossible. In the past, he would have doubted it, but there's a milk lake too. Since Sejun had already seen other amazing things, he thought it might be possible. Still, he decided to look at the other products first. Sugarcane, paprika, and cabbage were all new seeds in the seed shop, and they were good crops. This time it is regular cabbage. Although he had plenty of money and wanted to buy everything, unfortunately, there was a purchase limit of 50 tower coins. After pondering what to buy, Sejun made his decision. Honestly, the answer had been clear from the moment he saw it. I'll buy the sausage tree seed. He chose the sausage. You have purchased one sausage tree seed. 50 tower coins have been deducted from Park Sejun's account at the seed bank. 500 points have been accumulated in the seed shop mileage. A total of 1101 points have been accumulated in the seed shop mileage. As soon as the payment was completed, 1,000 points have been deducted from the seed shop mileage for the next rank up. Park Sejun's rank has increased from extraordinary to transcendent. At the transcendent rank, 7 types of seeds are shown randomly. Transcendent rank seeds are added to the shown products. At the transcendent rank, you can purchase as many seeds as you want within the amount of 500 tower coins. The level of seed shop LV3 has increased. Sejun's seed shop level had increased, and a small leather pouch containing a seed fell into Sejun's hands. Hehe, sausages. Sejun carefully planted the sausage tree seed in the ground. Since the master likes it, I'll quickly prepare some nutrients so the sausage tree can grow fast. Watching Sejun, Flamey decided to make small nutrients that the sausage tree sprout could consume. It seemed that soon another world tree would appear in the Black Tower. Chapter 385. Chairman Park is invincible, meow. Seed shop headquarters. Black Tower farmer Park Sejun has purchased a sausage tree seed. 50 tower coins have been deposited from Park Sejun's seed bank account to the seed shop. 50 tower coins are converted into 50 divine power. The divine power is distributed to Vienna, the god of sausages. Park Sejun bought the sausage tree seed I posted. Vienna, congratulations. Congratulations, now when the sausages grow. Vienna, the god of sausages, cheered, and the other gods congratulated her. Thank you, guys, take this. Just as Vienna had received divine power when she was in need, she shared her divine power with other struggling gods. And then, Park Sejun. Park Sejun. The non-combat gods chanted Sejun's name in unison. Of course, their voices were too faint to reach Sejun. At that moment, thud thud. That's a lot of noise. A giant combat god passed by, muttering a word, and the non-combat gods became as quiet as dead mice. But they didn't feel as miserable as before. Thanks to the divine power given by Sejun, no gods were disappearing due to a lack of divine power, and sealed gods were gradually returning. As the footsteps of the combat god receded, Park Sejun, Park Sejun, they began to chant Sejun's name quietly. Now that Park Sejun's seed shop rank has risen to transcendence, we can sell more expensive seeds. Let's quickly post transcendence rank seeds in the seed shop. Then I'll post this, dragon fruit. The gods eagerly awaited the opening of the next seed shop, filled with anticipation. A small but positive change was occurring among the non-combat gods. TL note, there is actually a tree that is named as sausage tree. Search on Google for more info. Good, about 1 million servings left. Let's work hard today too, guys. Pew Hut, I Vice Chairman Theo can keep going as long as I'm by Chairman Park's side, meow. Kyung. Kyungi is always energized. Yeah, Hyung, just trust me. Yes. I will work hard today as well. Kelkelko, leave it to us. Theo, Kyungi, Ajax, and the other tower farmers responded energetically to Sejun's words. There was a reason the other tower farmers enthusiastically followed Sejun's orders. It was because I love eating the food Sejun Nim makes. If it weren't for Aileen Nim, I would have kidnapped him. It's a shame. For lunch, Sejun Nim will give us delicious steamed potatoes again, right? Kelkelkel. If I stay here, I can avoid Grave Nim's nagging and enjoy a delicious lunch. It was because of the meals Sejun made for them. Thanks to that, they worked joyfully, looking forward to their meals, as everyone was focused on preparing ingredients. Kaying. After eating that yellow chewy thing, I feel stronger. Fenrir, who had eaten roasted sweet potato slice made from golden sweet potatoes infused with Blue Moon's energy for the first time, was excited beside Sejun. Kaying. Hey, give me more. Fenrir barked, sitting in front of Sejun, asking for more roasted sweet potato slices. However, no, if you eat too many snacks, you won't be able to eat your meal later. Since Sejun planned to make fish porridge with fish fillets for lunch, he didn't want Fenrir to fill up on other food, so he didn't give him any more roasted sweet potato slices. Kaying. You're mean. Realizing that Sejun had no intention of giving him more roasted sweet potato slices, Fenrir walked out of the kitchen with a disappointed look. But it was all an act to deceive Sejun. Thump thump. As soon as Fenrir left the kitchen, he ran with vigorous steps to the place where the Creator God's tablet was. Kahili Kaying. Hee, I have a secret stash. Fenrir went to his secret stash, pulled out various items, ate until he was full, and then lay down on the ground. Kirorong. And fell asleep. Of course, at lunchtime, with a full belly, Fenrir could only eat a little of the fish porridge Sejun made. Kaying. I should have eaten more. Pad pad. As Sejun stroked the belly of Fenrir, who was lying on his back looking disappointed. It's finally the last one. He swallowed the last of Aileen's healthier meatball piece. Gulp. You have consumed a piece of Aileen's healthier meatball. You have consumed all 500 pieces of Aileen's healthier meatball. All stats increased by 300. Along with the message, Sejun felt a surge of power throughout his body. All stats have exceeded 2,000. Your status has increased. The potential of all stats increases by 500. Resistance to other energies increases by an additional 10%. At the same time, as all his stats reached 2,000, his resistance increased further. Aileen, thank you. I've become stronger thanks to you. Sejun expressed his gratitude to Aileen after consuming all the meatball pieces. The tower's administrator said she is glad that you have become stronger. The tower's administrator says that the necklace charging is almost complete, and she will give you a specially prepared dish the next time she meet you. The tower's administrator says her cooking skills have greatly improved, and you can look forward to it. Yeah, there was more. Sejun's expression darkened considerably. Texas, USA. Hunters unintentionally caused a massive breeding of the flesh eaters as they hunted them. The seeds of the flesh eaters took root in the ground and grew rapidly, only to be hunted again by the hunters. After several repetitions over a few days, the number of flesh eaters increased exponentially, outpacing the hunters' ability to kill them. Now, the hunters were facing the consequences of their actions. Run away. The hunters fled from the flesh eaters. However, wriggle, wriggle. Green stems wrapped around the legs of the hunter at the back. Arg. The captured hunter quickly stood up and cut the stems, entangling his legs, but by then, dozens more stems had wrapped around his body. And then, wriggle, wriggle. More stems tightly bound the hunter, preventing him from escaping, and dragged him back to the main body. And then, save me. Crunch. The head of the flesh eater swallowed the hunter whole. Behind the flesh eater that swallowed the hunter, tens of thousands of flesh eaters followed. Crag, crag. The flesh eaters moved their roots slowly in the direction where the other hunters had fled. In that direction was Austin, the capital of Texas. All right, let's start cooking now. Since making 5 million servings in a day was impossible, Sejun began with soups that took a long time to prepare. The types of soups were sweet potato soup and potato soup. Expand. Using the guardian wooden shield, Sejun created firewood and placed it in 2 hearths. The unending staff, which used to be the firewood maker, had already been exhausted long ago. Contrary to its name, it no longer extended, and Sejun had given it a proper farewell through cremation. While putting firewood into the hearths and boiling the soup, Battler, the creator of the guardian wooden shield and the god of battle, does not allow the use of this divine relic. Crack. With the message, sparks flew from the shield. But feeling a jolt, Sejun dropped the shield. Chairman Park, are you okay, meow? Kyung. Dad, are you okay? Theo, who was clinging to Sejun's knee, and Kyungi, who had come to help with cooking, hurriedly asked. It was natural for them to worry, as Sejun seemed to be in pain. I'm fine, but what is this? Not permitted. Sejun recalled the message and examined the guardian wooden shield. Then, usage restriction, strength 500 or above, stamina 500 or above, farmer not permitted. A new condition, farmer not permitted, was added to the usage restrictions. He had been using it just fine until now, so why the sudden change? Guess I'll have to go chop wood from now on. Sejun spoke nonchalantly as he pondered where to get wood. Meow, this shield bullied Chairman Park, meow. Kyung. Kyungi will punish the shield that hurt Dad. Theo and Kyungi glared at the guardian wooden shield, thinking about how to punish it. Unlike that useless farmer, you two seem worthy of using my shield. I am Battler, the god of battle, the creator of this divine relic guardian wooden shield. I will allow the warrior who grabs the shield first among you to use my divine power. They heard the arrogant voice of the god of battle, Battler. But, meow, did you just call our Chairman Park useless, meow? Kyung, did you just insult Kyungi's dad? It only fueled their anger further. Kyung, you hurt Dad and insulted him. Unable to contain his anger, Kyungi threw the guardian wooden shield high into the air. Kyungi's 10,000-step punch. He launched his fist towards the sky. Kyungi's new technique was designed to attack an enemy 10,000 steps away, ensuring Sejun wouldn't get hurt. Of course, it could attack even more distant enemies. Bang! With Kyungi's punch, the shield shattered into pieces, creating a loud explosion in the sky. At that moment, you fool, how dare you destroy my divine relic? A red aura descended from the sky towards Kyungi. Kyungi, it's dangerous, meow. Theo quickly used his meow step to stand in front of Kyungi, and the red aura was absorbed into Theo's body. Pew hut, Giant Chairman Park, please take care of. Theo collapsed. Next to the seed shop headquarters was the combat shop headquarters. Just as the non-combat gods sold seeds in the seed shop headquarters, the combat gods sold weapons and combat skills in the combat shop headquarters. Of course, the scale and grandeur were vastly different. The combat shop headquarters was much larger and more splendid, fitting the massive bodies of the combat gods. In one of the rooms in the combat shop headquarters, Kuhaha finally found it. The god of battle, Battler, who had been searching for his divine relic, the guardian wooden shield with his eyes closed, opened them. But why is my divine relic being used by some insignificant farmer? He soon frowned. An insignificant farmer was using his divine relic as firewood. This bastard. So he set usage restriction to prevent the relic from being used. Is there any warrior around worthy of using my divine relic? Using his divine relic, he scanned the surroundings. And, oh, there are, and 2 of them at that. Both are exceptional warriors. He informed the 2 that the warrior who grabbed the shield first would be allowed to use his divine power. But this fool, how dare he destroy my divine relic? Battler, enraged, descended his soul through the divine relic. Now that it had come to this, he planned to take over the body of the one who destroyed it and steal the tower coins from those around him before returning. However, Theo's intervention changed his target. Well, a cat's body is also usable. Battler thought it was no big deal as he tried to seize Theo's spirit and dominate his body. But how can there be a spirit body larger than mine? Battler, who had entered Theo's mental world, was startled by the gigantic spirit towering over him. The spirit was at least 3 heads taller than he was. What was even more startling was that this gigantic spirit wasn't the owner of the body. What? Was there someone who entered before me? As Battler racked his brain to figure out who the opponent was. Giant Chairman Park, teach him a lesson, meow. Theo, clinging to the giant Sejun's knee, pointed at Battler and shouted. Thud, thud. The giant Sejun charged at Battler and threw a punch. Bang! But the giant Sejun was knocked down by Battler's uppercut. His fighting skills were just as they were in reality. Kuahaha, how dare you challenge me, the god of battle, Battler, with such skills? Bang, bang. Laughing, Battler approached the giant Sejun and began to beat him up. However, Giant Chairman Park, get up, meow. Chairman Park is invincible, meow. This only turned Theo, Sejun's knee's devout follower, into an even stronger fanatic. Chairman Park, is invincible. Fueled by Theo's unwavering belief, the giant Sejun grew even larger. Chapter 386. As expected, real Chairman Park's lap is the best, meow. Black Tower Administrator Area. Kekikek, I found it. Aileen, who had been searching for power of destruction with her destruction detector for several hours, rejoiced when she found its location. One of the divine relic owned by Sejun, the tower farmer of the Black Tower, has disappeared. One of the Black Tower's growth conditions changes to unachieved. An alarm appeared on the crystal orb. What? Who dared to mess with Sejun's relic? Aileen hurriedly used the crystal orb to find Sejun and locate the one who had taken his relic. However, no suspicious figure appeared in the crystal orb. Sejun, don't worry, I'll take care of it, Grandpa. Aileen called for Kaiser's help. What? Someone dared to touch our Sejun's relic. Got it, leave it to me. Upon hearing Aileen's words, Kaiser flew swiftly to Sejun. And then, Vice Chairman Theo, wake up. Kyung Kyung. Big brother Kyungi was trying to protect you. You mustn't die. What Kaiser saw was Sejun holding the collapsed Theo, with Kyungi crying hysterically beside them. Sejun, what happened? Kaisernim, please help. Theo was struck by a red light and collapsed. A red light. Kyung Kyung. Kyungi was scolding the relic was messing with Dad, and it broke while punishing it. Kyungi explained the recent events. You heard the voice of Battler, the god of battle. Kyung. Yes. Listening to Kyungi's explanation, Kaiser pondered. Did he descend directly? Kaiser had sensed a different aura from Theo's body and was now beginning to understand. That rascal Battler must have entered Theo's body to take over. Don't worry, I'll handle it, mental dive. Kaiser placed the hand of the black dragon statue on Theo's body and entered Theo's mental world. What is this? Seeing the enormous Sejun growing larger, the god of battle Battler was astonished. Can it grow even bigger here? To become a spiritual entity of that size, one would need an enormous amount of divine power or receive immense faith from the owner of this mental world. Not just immense faith, but absolute belief without a shred of doubt would be required to explain such a size. However, that's impossible. Everyone has a self, so it's impossible to absolutely trust someone more than oneself. Moreover, he had never heard of a god maintaining such a size with divine power in these times, when gathering divine power was difficult. An incomprehensible phenomenon. Slap. What's important now is not that nonsense. I am Battler, the god of battle. I will defeat any enemy. Battler slapped his own cheeks to rouse his fighting spirit. However, it was a futile effort. Pew hut. Now I've Supergiant Chairman Park, meow. Supergiant Chairman Park, punish Battler, meow. Punish him. Responding to Theo's shout while clinging to the supergiant Sejun's knee, the supergiant Sejun slowly reached out his hand. HMPH. Battler scoffed and tried to dodge Sejun's hand lightly. Thud. I can't move. Under the pressure created by the supergiant Sejun's hand, Battler couldn't move an inch and ended up captured by Sejun's hand. I, the god of battle, a prisoner. This alone was already a significant disgrace. How dare you disregard my chairman Park, meow, and you try to hurt my little brother Kyungi, meow. I'll punish you, meow. Slap, slap. Theo's tiny front paw, smaller than Battler's fingernails, slapped him. It didn't hurt, but it made him feel even more mocked. Don't you know the pride of a warrior? Treat me like a warrior. Unable to bear the humiliation, Battler shouted while simultaneously preparing to escape at the first opportunity. Though the power of the supergiant Sejun was strong, it wasn't enough to completely destroy Battler. As Battler gritted his teeth, meow, I don't know anything about a warrior's treatment, meow. Instead, I'll let you stamp this, meow. With Theo's words, a contract appeared. What, a stamp? Battler frowned at the mention of a stamp, because he had seen many gods fall to ruin after stamping wrong contracts. Hut, that's right, meow. You just need to stamp here, meow. No way. Battler clenched his thumb into a fist to avoid stamping, but a small gap inevitably formed. Hut, I Vice Chairman Theo, never give up, meow. As a cat, Theo easily slipped into the gap and stamped Battler's thumb on the contract. It was so small that Battler felt nothing. However, meow. Why isn't it stamping, meow? Battler's thumbprint didn't appear on the contract. Something's wrong, meow. Even after multiple attempts, when the stamp didn't appear. My slave Garon, come out, meow. Theo summoned Garon. Did you call for me, Theonim? Yes, Garon, why isn't the stamp working, meow? Theo asked while pressing Battler's thumb on the contract. This happens when there's a significant disparity in power between the parties. If the other party rejects, the stamp won't take. Meow, then if he agrees it will work, meow. Yes, if the other party consents it's possible. Hut understood, meow. I just need to get Battler's consent, meow. Theonim, who owns this hand. This guy is Battler, the god of battle, meow. What, the god of battle, Battler? Are you trying to make the god of battle your slave? Garon, you know him too, meow. Of course, he's one of the highest-ranking gods. Garon responded in an excited voice. But it's definitely impossible, yet Garon thought maybe Theo could do it. If Theo got Battler's stamp, the hierarchy would. I'm senior, so I'd be higher, right? The heart of Garon, the god of jewel frogs, swelled with grandeur at the thought of having the god of battle, Battler, as his junior. Theonim, good luck. Hut, got it, meow. Garon, you can go back now, meow. Theo dismissed Garon and slipped back out of the gap. Battler, consent to the stamp, meow. HMPH, I'd rather die than stamp that. Stamp it, meow. No way. Battler stubbornly refused to stamp. Supergiant Chairman Park, punish him, meow. Squeeze. At Theo's command, the supergiant Sejun tightened his grip on Battler, but useless. Battler resisted to the end. Stamp it, meow. No. As Theo and Battler continued their tussle. What's this? Did I enter the wrong mind? But Sejun's mental strength shouldn't be this strong. The great black dragon Kaiser, who had entered Theo's mental world, was bewildered upon seeing the much larger supergiant Sejun. He had definitely entered Theo's mental world, but seeing the giant Sejun made him think he had mistakenly entered Sejun's mind. Hut, Kaisernum, it's so good to see you, meow. Theo, clinging to the knee of the supergiant Sejun, greeted Kaiser warmly. Seeing Kaiser gave Theo an idea on how to get the stamp. If there's a power difference, reduce it. Theo, you're truly beyond imagination. Kaiser, understanding the situation as he saw Theo waving his paw at him, was astounded. He knew Theo trusted Sejun, but not to this extent. It was an endless, boundless trust. To Theo, Sejun was a god, an absolute god. No deity could defeat Sejun within Theo's mental world. Theo, but where is Battler? Pew Hut, he's over there, meow. Theo pointed to the hand of the supergiant Sejun, where Battler was seen there with his head bowed in defeat. Kuahaha, no way, who's this? Isn't it Battler, the god of battle? Kaiser, who had initially prepared for a fight with Battler, now relished in the sight. He deliberately faced Battler, who was trying to avoid eye contact, taunting him. The two had known each other since before the tower existed, and did not have a good relationship. Battler, embarrassed to be seen in such a humiliating position by Kaiser, wanted to flee, but was helplessly restrained by the supergiant Sejun. At that moment, Pew Hut, Kaisernum, could you stamp this for me, meow? Theo held out the contract to Kaiser. A stamp. That's right, meow. You just need to stamp it here, meow. Theo pointed to the designated spot on the contract, next to where his own paw print was already stamped. Theo planned to elevate his status by getting Kaiser's stamp and then obtain Battler's stamp. Ha ha ha, of course I'll stamp it for you. Thud. Kaiser willingly stamped the contract. Thank you, Kaisernum, meow. Now I can get the stamp, meow. No, thank you. To be able to personally watch the scene of Battler becoming a slave. Hurry and get the stamp. Pew Hut got it, meow. With Kaiser's stamp, Theo eagerly dashed into the gap of Battler's hand and press. Obtain Battler's stamp. This can't be, I clearly blocked it, how? Am I really a slave now, the god of battle, Battler? This is impossible. Pew Hut, it's possible, meow. Slave, hand over something useful for Chairman Park, meow. Theo began to extort the newly enslaved Battler. Ha ha ha, that guy Battler has a lot of good stuff, so ask for everything. Pew Hut got it, meow. Kaiser encouraged Theo, watching with amusement as Theo extorted Battler. A little later. Meow, is this really all, meow? For every new thing I find I will have Kaisernum hit you with a breath, meow. Theo, holding an armful of potions, skill stones, and weapons he had taken from Battler, asked. Now I really don't have any more. Battler replied in a voice of utter resignation. Meow, why aren't there any divine relics, meow? Hand over the divine relics, meow. What? Hearing Theo demand divine relics after taking everything else from him, Battler was left speechless. Do you think divine relics are that common? Are you sure you don't have any divine relics, meow? Yes, and the one I did have got destroyed by that bear. Slap. He's not a bear, he's my little brother Kyungi. But Battler, you're totally penniless, meow. Theo reprimanded Battler for calling Kyungi a bear, and spoke in a dismissive tone. What, I have a lot compared to others. Battler, enraged by Theo's words, shouted in frustration. Got it, meow, I'll believe you, meow. Next time bring even more, meow. HMPH, there probably won't be a next time. As Battler's descent time ended, he shouted with relief and disappeared. And then, Pew Hut, we will meet again, meow. Theo looked at the spot where Battler had vanished, feeling certain they would cross paths again. Theo, see you outside. Pew Hut got it, meow. After Kaiser disappeared, Theo packed the items he received from Battler into his bag. Let's meet again, Supergiant Chairman Park's lap, meow. Theo hugged the knee of the supergiant Sejun tightly and closed his eyes. Meow. Vice Chairman Theo, are you okay? When the unconscious Theo opened his eyes, Sejun asked with a worried voice. Kaiser had reassured Sejun before leaving, but he was still concerned. However, Pew Hut, even with my eyes open, I'm on Chairman Park's lap, meow. As expected, the real Chairman Park's lap is the best, meow. Seeing Theo happily rubbing his body on his knee, Sejun felt there was no need to worry, just as Kaiser had said. What are you talking about? Get up already. Sejun, needing to find wood to cook porridge since Gaudian wooden shield was gone, tried to get up hurriedly. At that moment, Pew Hut, Chairman Park, I've got something good, meow. Theo emptied his bag, revealing the items he had received from Battler, and Sejun sat back down to examine them. Among the items were 2 unending staffs that could be used as firewood. "Oh, Vice Chairman Theo, well done." "Hut, I Vice Chairman Theo always do well, meow." Theo replied in a haughty voice, vigorously rubbing his forehead against the hand that was patting him. Chapter 387, Then I Think I Can Do It. 4th floor of the Black Tower. Hello, by the orders of Theonim. When the slaves sent by Theo arrived at the grape farm. "Welcome, newbies. I am Kodo, the instructor. Down with the bone caste system." Senior slave Kodo greeted the new slaves. After a brief training to help the slaves adapt to the grape farm, they would be sent out to fight against the flesh eaters. "What?" The new slaves were confused by Kodo's final shout. What was that about? "But, down with the bone caste system." Kodo shouted again without backing down. Down with the bone caste system." "Ah, whatever." The slaves who were watching the situation quickly echoed Kodo's words. Their lives were already messed up, and they felt it would be a real hassle if things got even worse here. As the new slaves chanted, "Down with the bone caste system." "Welcome, newbies. Congratulations on joining the Crying Skeleton Gang. Down with the bone caste system." "Down with the bone caste system." The new slaves, without knowing why, found themselves joining the Crying Skeleton Gang and chanting against the bone caste system. And then, "Kika. The enemies are coming, attack." "Down with the bone caste system." "Enemies are coming from the left too." "Down with the bone caste system." That became their slogan. With the continuous influx of Theo's slaves, the front lines of the grape farm were maintained stably today as well, and Sejun's contributions were steadily accumulating. Black Tower, 99th floor. "Kuehe Kuang. Hehe, I'll get another 5-star stamp after this." Thud thud. While Kuangi was infusing magic into the unending staff, extending and breaking it to put firewood into the hearth. Hut, pet me here too, meow." "Sure." Sejun, with one hand, was petting Theo's belly while inspecting the items Theo had snatched from Battler with the other hand. Warrior's Potion. When consumed, all stats increase by 30% for 30 seconds. Remaining amount, 10 drops. Usage restriction, none. Creator, God of Battle, Battler. Grade S. What is this? Theo said he got this from a god. Sejun was puzzled by the Warrior's Potion's option. Its effect is worse than my beans. His beans required eating 4 at once, but increased all stats by 300%. But this one only increased all stats by 30% for a mere 30 seconds. Thinking it might not be made by a god, he checked the contents again, and it clearly said Creator, God of Battle, Battler. A god who makes items worse than his crops. That god called Battler must be really weak. Sejun thought Battler was a weak god. If Battler knew he was not only robbed by Theo but also considered weak, he would be furious. Sejun then inspected a skill stone. Combat skill stone, Warrior's Roar. When magic is infused into the skill stone, you can learn the skill, Warrior's Roar. Usage restriction, warrior-related jobs. Grade A+. Infuse magic. Excited at the thought of learning a combat skill, Sejun immediately infused magic into the skill stone. But you cannot learn the skill because you do not have a warrior-related job. He was blocked by the usage restriction. As expected, it didn't work. So unfair, so unfair. Sejun put the skill stones into his pocket and, meow, picked up Theo by the scruff and placed him on his knee. Then, after stirring the soup once more, he headed to the brewery. Fermentation. He used the fermentation skill on the grape wine and sealed the Iyanju well after adding the supplementary ingredients. In about 2 days, the Samyanju would be ready. After finishing the work in the brewery, it was already dinner time. While Sejun was grilling fish and corn over the fire used to boil the soup, The tower's administrator said she have found the location of power of destruction on the 60th floor of the Black Tower. Really? Then I should secure the land deed for the 60th floor of the tower first. Thanks, Aileen, try this. Sejun sent the corn cheese he was making for dinner to Aileen. The tower's administrator says the corn and the stretching cheese are really delicious. Yes, from now on I'll keep making delicious things so you don't have to cook, Aileen. Sejun spoke carefully, hopping to convey his feelings. Aileen. After that, Aileen didn't respond. What's this? Is she mad because I told her not to cook? The poor guy misunderstood again today. At that moment, meow. Theo, sensing something, raised his head and looked outside. Multiple fragments of Fenrir's core have been detected 20 km northeast. A message suddenly appeared in front of Sejun. Everyone gather up. Upon seeing the message, Sejun hurriedly called Kyungi and the 4 tower farmers who were preparing ingredients. It was definitely an enemy attack, considering there were multiple fragments, not just one. Multiple fragments of Fenrir's core have been detected 10 km northeast. While the group was gathering, the distance to the enemy had halved. Now it's 9.5 km left. As Sejun informed the group of the distance to the enemy. Chairman Park, it's not the enemy, meow. It's Yona, meow. Theo said to Sejun. Yona, you mean Yona is coming right now? Hut, that's right, meow. Really? Actually, I called you all for dinner. Embarrassed, Sejun entered the kitchen, and the group followed him into the kitchen. A few minutes later. Kaiwat. Hello, Sejunim. Yeah, come on in. Yona, who had arrived in no time, greeted Sejun while wrapping Theo's tail around herself. Theonim here. I brought this because I saw you gathering them last time. After greeting Sejun, Iona handed Theo 10 Fenrir's core fragments. Hut, Iona, thank you, meow. Chairman Park, look at this, meow. As soon as Theo received the Fenrir's core fragments from Iona, he offered them to Sejun. Hut, praise me, meow. Vice Chairman Theo, excellent. Hut, I Vice Chairman Theo am always excellent, meow. While Theo proudly responded to Sejun's praise. Thank you. It's nothing. Sejun and Iona exchanged words with their eyes. After petting Theo's head, Sejun ate corn cheese while inspecting the Fenrir's core fragments. Kahili Kaying. Hee, it's so delicious. Fenrir, the real owner of the core fragments, was so engrossed in the corn cheese that he didn't even notice his core fragments nearby. Most of them are less than 0.01%. After checking the power contained in the core fragments, Sejun carefully hid them in the void storage. Then he had a pleasant meal while chatting with his group. After dinner, thud, kaying, butler, I'm so full. Fenrir, who had eaten a lot of corn cheese and had a bulging belly, lay down in front of Sejun and asked for help. Got it. Sejun helped Fenrir digest by rubbing his belly. A little while later, Kororong. Fenrir, who was being petted by Sejun, fell asleep. Hehe, I made him sleep. Sejun laid Fenrir on the bed and went out, burying the Fenrir's core fragments that Iona had brought in the field. And then, gulp, you have consumed medicinal mugwort. All stats increase by 20. Your lifespan increases by 3 months. You have consumed a bitter medicinal herb. The talent, a medicine that's bitter is good for stamina, is activated. Stamina increases by 9. I still can't get used to this. He passed out after eating the medicinal mugwort. On the 395th day of Sejun's stay in the tower, which could have been a big problem because of Battler, he safely passed the day thanks to Theo. Austin, the capital of Texas, USA. Citizens are advised to follow the soldiers' instructions to evacuate the city. The roads were completely jammed with vehicles fleeing Austin to escape the approaching flesh eaters, while Austin's roads were paralyzed with refugees. Check if there are any gaps. Yes, sir. 300 hunters urgently dispatched from nearby cities, prepared to fight the flesh eaters at Austin's perimeter. They created sturdy barricades by lying cars down and stacking them several layers thick where there were solid walls. Their plan was to hold the line for about 3 days to give the refugees time to escape the city. As they were checking their positions and waiting for the enemy, the flesh eaters began to appear. Crunch, crunch. After about 10 minutes, the flesh eaters reached the hunters' barricades. The flesh eaters were naturally blocked by the barricades and couldn't advance. Attack, those things have high resistance to fire magic, so magicians use wind magic. Yes, sir. Do not overexert yourselves, we just need to buy time. Hunters armed with swords and spears climbed onto the barricades to lure the flesh eaters away from other areas. Hunters using bows or magic attacked from tall buildings, occasionally dealing with those that tried to bypass the barricades. 2 hours later, the ground in front of the barricades was stained red with the fluids from the slain flesh eaters. Ping! Soren, at this rate, we could hold out for a week. A hunter who had precisely shot a stalk connecting a flesh eater's head to its body, separating them, spoke to his colleague. Right, maybe evacuating the people was unnecessary. As Soren responded, Ghoul. The fluids from the dead flesh eaters in front of the barricades suddenly started to gather. With the accumulation of the flesh eaters' corpses, Halfas had sent additional calamities. The mass soon transformed into a giant leech. What the leech read. Boom! Before Soren could warn the hunters guarding the barricades, the giant leech attacked the barricade. Hunters were swallowed by the giant leech, drained of their blood, and turned into mummies in an instant. Without Grape's retreat, the hunters hurriedly got into the cars they had prepared and abandoned their position. However, rumble! The ground shook. Boom! A giant leech emerged from beneath the ground, swallowing the car. There wasn't just one giant leech. Keek. Thus, the flesh eaters and giant leeches entered Austin together. And there were still 2 million citizens in Austin who hadn't evacuated. Black Tower, 99th floor. As the night deepened, pip pip, good evening everyone. The Golden Bat, Peacebees, started its activities. As soon as Peacebees woke up, flap flap, it went to the kitchen and began eating the fruit Sejun had prepared. Nom nom. Pip pip, the grapes are so delicious. After finishing its meal, Peacebees stirred the still cooking soup on behalf of Sejun. Hello, I'm Peacebees, nice to meet you, and greeted the sausage tree that hadn't even sprouted yet. Then it headed to the eastern cave for training. As usual, it was to practice the skills of its seniors. But, pip pip, pip pip, today it was having quite a tough time. Pip pip, brother Kyungi's new technique is difficult. It was due to Kyungi's new technique, Kyungi's step punch. No matter how much it practiced, accurately hitting a distant target was challenging. Pip pip, but I won't give up. With a determined shout, Peacebees started its training from step 1. And then, pip pip, I succeeded up to 1,200 steps. Peacebees, who had completed the Peacebees 1,200 step punch, flew home with a satisfied face. At that moment, Peacebees, are you fully charged? Flamey had come looking for Peacebees as the situation on Earth had become urgent. Although Flamey could go herself, the enemy was too small in size. No, but how far is the distance? Distance, roughly 12,000 km. Pip pip, then I think I can do it. How? Pip pip, I just practiced a new technique. Peacebee's step was quite different from Kyungi's. Pip pip, Flamey, see you on Earth then. With that, Peacebees moved to Earth. It's that way. Pip pip, yes, Peacebees' 1,200 step punch. Peacebees used its new technique towards Austin. Chapter 388, Kyungi beat Oryx severely. Austin, Texas, USA. The streets was filled with people who had heard the news of monsters entering the city and were fleeing from their vehicles in panic. And then, Kayak. Not long after, as a flesh-eater appeared from a distance. "Get out of the way. Hurry up and go. Run." People began abandoning their belongings and hurriedly ran away. However, the roads were already packed with cars, and the path between the cars was so narrow that only two people could barely pass through. People wanted to move quickly, but they couldn't. Kayak. Quang. Fortunately, the flesh-eaters' speed slowed down as they struggled to clear the cars blocking their path. "Everyone stay calm. If we move orderly, we can outpace those creatures. Yes, we can all survive if we move slowly." People who overcame their fear began to speak out courageously. Hearing these voices, those who regained their senses started to move in an orderly manner. By moving in an orderly fashion, their pace quickened compared to when they were in a rush, and they began to widen the distance between themselves and the flesh-eaters. As people widened the distance from the flesh-eaters, boom! A giant leech suddenly emerged from the ground, attacking the front of the refugees trying to escape Austin. It had traveled underground. "I help. Run." The people, who had just felt relieved thinking they could finally escape the city, screamed. A giant leech in front and the flesh-eaters from behind. It was a dire situation. Then, bang! Something invisible from the sky crushed the giant leech flat. Huh! And in the sky, the shape of something that had split the clouds remained. It was the shape of a giant bat. Of course, the same shape was imprinted on the ground where the giant leech had been. It was Peacebee's 1,200-step punch. Flamey had told Peacebees that the earth was round, and after hearing Flamey's words, Peacebees used the skill in a parabolic arc. That's why it came from the sky. Bang, bang. Continuing, explosions and bat imprints appeared where the flesh-eaters were, dealing with most of the monsters. As it was dealing with invisible areas, it couldn't completely handle them all. However, the number of remaining flesh-eaters was now down to about 100, a manageable number for the hunters. "Pip-pip, Flamunum, I'll head back now." "Sure, good job." From the rooftop of Hanla building in Gangnam, Seoul, Peacebees, who had dealt with the monsters in America, returned to the tower. Of course, in Peacebees, hands were foods that Sejun would love. And then, this should get a lot of views. A YouTuber filmed Peacebees flapping his wings toward America and disappearing and uploaded the video. 99th floor of the Black Tower. "All right." Sejun, who woke up in the morning. "The seal of the Earth's jewel has been broken." Fonts, the god of the spring who was sealed in the Earth's jewel, is released from the seal. Fonts, the god of the spring, repays the favor to the one who released his seal. Fonts, the god of the spring, creates a spring on a 3.3 square meter piece of land to repay his benefactor. During sleep, 10% of your life force has been stored. The life orb is 5.75% complete. 0. 1 magic power has been accumulated over 24 hours. Magic power increases by 0.1. He briefly checked the messages while lying down. A spring. Considering the gods' rewards so far, it wouldn't be just ordinary water. What could it be? Sejun's curiosity was piqued. Mio. After grabbing sleeping Theo by the nape and putting him onto his lap. Pew hud. Theo hugged Sejun's lap tightly, smiling contentedly. "This guy." Sejun, his lips curling up in satisfaction, marked the date on the wall and stepped outside. Naturally, Iona, who was sleeping on Theo's tail, accompanied him. Thus, Sejun set out to find the spring. However, where is it? Even after circling the entire farm, he couldn't find the spring. "I'll have to ask Kyungi to find it later." Since Kyungi could fly using telekinesis, he would have a good view from the sky. Kaiwat. Although Iona was nearby, Sejun didn't want to wake her, as she was sleeping contentedly, wrapped around Theo's tail for the first time in a long while. Time to make breakfast. Unable to find the spring, Sejun arrived at the kitchen. Why is this here? The spring Sejun had been searching for was inside the kitchen. But is this milk? Sejun looked at the milky white liquid inside the spring. It was filled with milk. Oh, do I finally have my own milk spring too? Sejun chuckled, scooped up a glass of milk, drank it and started cooking. The menu, roasted sweet potatoes. Because they would taste amazing with milk. A while later. Kueha kuang. Haha, it was delicious. Kahili kang. Hee, it was delicious. Kuangi and Fenrir, who had eaten roasted sweet potatoes with milk, lay down with their butts pressed against Sejun. Slurp. Sejun petted them while drinking a latte made by mixing milk into his self-brewed coffee. After finishing his latte, land moving, he created a 1.5 square meter fonts road for the god of the spring, fonts. Though he liked milk, it wasn't as good as chocolate, so he made a 1.5 square meter road accordingly. Fonts Road. Fonts, the god of the spring who rewarded us with a milk spring. He was a pure white god. Sejun made the road and started cooking again for the dragon meeting. He stirred the soup once, went to the brewery and used his fermentation skill. And then summoned the slaves. He summoned the other tower farmers. Let's make gariteoks. They began making gariteoks together. Sejun and Kyungi. Theo and Yona. Ajax and Veronica. Zelga and Auric formed teams, placing dough in molds and pressing them to make gariteoks. By the time they reached lunchtime, the 4 teams had made an enormous amount of gariteoks without stopping. Almost enough to form a small hill. For reference, the gariteoks they made were only a fraction of the prepared dough. What should I do with this? Though he could store it in the void storage, he would have to take it out again later, which would be double the work. Ajax called Ramternim. Okay, Hyung. As Sejun was contemplating, he instructed Ajax to call Ramter to take the gariteoks away. Collect our Sejun, you've worked hard, refresh. Ramter collected the gariteoks and cast recovery magic on Sejun and his companions before leaving. And then, Ramternum personally casting recovery magic. The only time Gravenum uses magic on me is when he's angry. Seeing this for the first time, Zelga and Auric were greatly shocked. Great dragons usually treat beings of lower rank as mere insects. But casting recovery magic and even encouraging Sejun, who was of a lower rank than them. Kelkelkel, Sejunum, what scam have you played on the dragons? Teach me too. Auric, laughing slyly, asked Sejun. He wanted Grave to stop hitting him. However, meow, Chairman Park doesn't scam people, meow. Kyungi's dad doesn't scam people. Theo and Kyungi, enraged, grabbed Auric by the collar and dragged him to a corner, returning with bruises around his eyes. At that moment, growl. Kyungi's stomach growled. Kelkelkel, Sejunum, it seems Kyunginim is hungry, let's have lunch. At some point, Auric had started referring to Kyungi as Kyunginim instead of just Kyungi. Yes, let's eat. Lunch was, of course, gariteoks. Zelga, eat this with it. Thank you. He gave shrimp paste to Zelga, who preferred fish, to dip the gariteoks in. After having lunch, they continued making gariteoks until dinner. Guys, good job today. Let's have dinner before you go. Since they had worked especially hard today, Sejun decided to treat the tower farmers to dinner. Opening the void storage with the intention of making some simple pancakes, Sejun spotted something. Huh, what's this? Right as he opened the storage, he saw an item wrapped in a black bag with a yellow post-it note attached. It's pork belly that Master Sejun likes. Enjoy from Peacebees. Peacebees, thank you. Sejun, thankful to Peacebees, who was likely listening somewhere, reached into the black bag and pulled out its contents. A chunk of red meat greeted Sejun. Hahem, pork belly. However, oh, I told the others not to leave. Sejun soon realized that there were many mouths to feed this pork belly to. Should I hide it? While Sejun was contemplating, Kelkelkel, Sejunum, that looks delicious. Auric, who had appeared out of nowhere, caught sight of the pork belly. Sai, go pull out some green onions and Napa cabbages. Kelkelkel, yes. Since he had been caught anyway, Sejun decided to share it. Sejun made a green onion salad using the green onions Auric brought, and cut the Napa cabbage into bite-sized pieces to use as wraps since they didn't have lettuce. Once the preparations were complete, sizzle, they grilled the pork belly and ate it together deliciously. As the atmosphere became more lively, Kelkelkel, Sejunum, I have some good liquor, let's drink together. Auric handed Sejun a bottle he pulled from inside his pants, which seemed to have a dimensional magic spell cast on them. Although Sejun didn't like where it was pulled from, his curiosity about the liquor from another tower made him accept the bottle. Since it was contained in a bottle, he thought the contents inside would be fine, but horrible goblin whiskey. A whiskey made only with rotten food using a secret method, passed down from generation to generation of the Red Goblin tribe. Upon consumption, you will be poisoned by B-grade poison. If you have a grade or higher poison resistance, you will not be poisoned. Usage restriction, stamina 1000 or higher. Maker, Red Goblin Tribe Elder Wiki. Shelf life 10 years. Grade A. Seeing the description, Sejun changed his mind. Auric, do you have poison resistance? Kelkelkel, of course. What grade? Kelkelkel, naturally A grade. We Red Goblins fall into two categories, those who survived by achieving a grade poison resistance and those who died trying. Really? Then do you think I have a grade poison resistance? Kelkelkel, Sejunum isn't a Red Goblin, so of course you don't. Haha, knowing that you still offered this to me. Kyungi beat Auric severely. This was unforgivable. Kyungi will teach him a lesson. At Sejun's words, Kyungi, who had been chewing on a piece of Napa cabbage piled with 3 slices of pork belly and green onion salad, quickly swallowed the food and stood up. Meow, Auric tried to harm Chairman Park, meow. I Vice Chairman Theo will punish Auric too, meow. How dare you try to poison our Sejun Hyung? Moreover, Theo and Ajax also stood up, and Auric was dragged away by the 3 of them. Kelkelkel, everyone calm down. At least let me know what did I do wrong. Even while being dragged away, Auric had no idea what he had done wrong. I should put this away first. Sejun packed away the horrible goblin whiskey. Poison might come in handy someday, just like when he caught the giant electric eel with Aileen's food in the past. But it's a bit disappointing not to drink it after getting ready. Sejun said, looking at the empty glass. Should I go have just one drink? Suddenly craving alcohol, Sejun went to the brewery and opened the lid of the jar containing the samyeonju. Whoa, looks like it's done. A golden glow emanated from the jar. The samyeonju made with golden rice was completed. And then, you have achieved the feat of making the first golden samyeonju in the tower. The recipe for golden samyeonju has been registered in Cooking LV 9. Your proficiency in Cooking LV 9 has slightly increased. An achievement message appeared just as Sejun thought. You have obtained a clue to achieve a great feat. A quest has been generated. A quest message also appeared following it. Is this the quest? Heh, this is too easy. Sejun smiled brightly after reading the quest content. Chapter 389. I can't believe it, meow. Chairman Park lasting for 10 seconds, meow. Quest, make each leader of the great 9 dragon clans drink a glass of golden samyeonju. Great Black Dragon Kaiser Pratani, 01. Great White Dragon Kellyan Maimb, 01. Great Golden Dragon Artemis Yul, 01. Great Silver Dragon Chrysella Hisrun, 01. Great Red Dragon Ramter Zahir, 01. Great Blue Dragon Kin Aster, 01. Great Brown Dragon Grave Renma, 01. Great Green Dragon Brachio Iorg, 01. Great Purple Dragon Tyr Peton, 01. Reward, 15 drops of Harvest Elixir. What kind of quest is this? to make dragons who can easily drink regular samyeonju drink the golden samyeonju. If you just give it to them, they'll drink it well on their own. Heh. The quest was so easy, but the reward was so good that Sejun couldn't help but laugh. Moreover, the leaders of the 9 dragon clans were all gathering soon, so there was no need to go out of his way. It was as good as done. But what's the option that requires it to be given to the leaders? Sejun checked the options of the golden samyeonju. Golden samyeonju. This is a liquor brewed 3 times using golden rice as an ingredient. It has a high alcohol content. When consumed, it activates a powerful anti-curse effect. If your mental strength is weak, it can cause extreme drunkenness. It has a sweet aroma and deep flavor. Chef Tower Farmer Park Sejun of the Black Tower. Shelf life 100 years. Grade SSS. It's not meant to make the dragons drunk, and the dragons wouldn't have weak mental strength, so they wouldn't get drunk from it. Then, anti-curse. Are they all cursed or something? Of course, it didn't make sense for such incredibly strong dragons to be cursed, but this was the most likely scenario. And Sejun's guess was correct. The dragons were under the curse of forgetfulness. Samyeonju made from the relic, wealth-devouring rice dough could only temporarily lift the curse of forgetfulness, not permanently. This was why the dragons were so obsessed with Samyeonju. While the taste was one reason, they mainly drank it to lift the curse. Of course, there were dragons who drank it just for the taste. Kehaha, drink up. Yuahaha, Sejun's liquor is the best. The snacks are the best too, hee. Eat this spicy Chinjiang chili pepper, then drink a glass of Samyeonju Q, it's amazing. Dahahaha, I heard our Sejun is making a new liquor. I'm already looking forward to the dragon meeting. As usual, Kaiser, Kellyan, Ramter, and Tyr were talking while drinking near the fountain. At that moment, Ramter, but our purple dragon seems to be bringing around 1,500. Tyr cautiously brought up the topic. What? No way, I clearly said 1,000. Ramter rejected it firmly. I know, I do, but the hatchlings spread rumors that there would be delicious food at the dragon meeting, so our Pobai went around telling everyone and other dragons found out. Nonsense, how would the hatchlings know about that? Sorry. It seems my granddaughter wanted to help Sejun and told the other hatchlings. What? At Kaiser's words, Ramter was speechless. All the hatchlings of other dragon clans knew about it. Then the other dragon clans would bring at least 1,000 too. Ramter was furious at Aileen, who caused this trouble. However, he couldn't do anything about it. Aileen was only 200 years old, a young dragon, but she was the administrator of the Black Tower. Shouting at Aileen and getting kicked out of the Black Tower would mean losing any route to meet Sejun again. I'll first ask Sejun if he can increase the amount of food, and then decide. Since it's because of us, let's go together. And so the 4 went to find Sejun. Helihe, guys, come here, I'll give you a kiss. Meow, no way, meow. Kyung. Daddy's breath smells bad. Kaying. How dare you try to put saliva on the noble wolf Fenrir, first seed of the apostle of destruction. What are you doing? What they saw was Sejun, lips puckered, trying to kiss Theo, Kyungi, and Fenrir, who were squirming in his grasp. Of course, the strong Theo and Kyungi pushed Sejun's face away with their paws, leaving Fenrir, who was weaker, to receive Sejun's kisses. Sejun had drunk a glass of golden samyeonju to taste it before going to bed, intending to fall asleep immediately. Sejun's drunken habit was to fall asleep. It didn't matter if he got extremely drunk. However, the extreme drunkenness status effect was a bit different from what Sejun expected. The drunken habit would activate randomly. This is the chance. The dragons realized that now, with Sejun drunk, was their chance. They quickly stated their business. All right then, let's make it 20,000. As expected, Sejun readily agreed. But, in return you have to receive my kisses, heliha. A big hurdle awaited them in the form of Sejun's kisses. Should we just knock him out and claim he agreed? Should we? Ramter, you just close your eyes and take it for the team. Are you crazy? While the dragons' opinions were leaning towards knocking Sejun out and claiming he agreed. Great dragons, what if Aileen Nuna kisses Chairman Park instead? Meow. Theo suggested a solution. Aileen. That would work. What? Aileen kissing over my dead body? Other dragons thought it was a good idea, but Kaiser was vehemently opposed, getting highly agitated. My cute, pretty, and beautiful granddaughter kissing. Even if I acknowledge Sejun, this old man is not ready. It's too soon by 100,000 years. By 100,000 years, Sejun would already be dead, but Kaiser couldn't even imagine his granddaughter kissing another man. They had already kissed once before, but Kaiser didn't know about that. Despite Kaiser's strong opposition, the tower's administrator says it is an excellent idea and praises Theo as Sejun's right-hand man. Hut, that's right, meow. I Theo am Chairman Park's excellent right-hand man, meow. The tower's administrator says she will be brushing her teeth, so Theo should prepare to activate the absolute protection engraved on Kaira's necklace. Understood, meow. Aileen and Theo were already preparing. Kissing Sejun is a rare opportunity. And then, should we step aside? Yeah, it's a bit awkward with old folks around. Punks over my dead body. Hold him down. The dragons dragged Kaiser away. They had recorded Sejun's words that he would increase the number of dragons invited to the dragon meeting to 20,000 if he just got a kiss. After a while, Aileen Nuna, I've activated absolute protection, meow. When Theo finished preparing, Sejun, I missed you. Aileen appeared before Sejun. Aileen. Yes, it's me. Oh, Aileen, let's kiss. Okay. Sejun, smiling foolishly, puckered his lips towards Aileen, who quietly closed her eyes and leaned in with her own lips. Smooch. Although their lips remained pressed together for quite a while, Sejun did not pass out, or maybe 1 second felt like an eternity. It was sad to say, but it was normal for Sejun to pass out as soon as they kissed. Although Sejun had become stronger, Aileen had grown even more during that time. However, meow, I can't believe it, meow. Chairman Park lasting for 10 seconds, meow. Hearing Theo's words, that didn't seem to be the case. My Sejun held out for 10 seconds. Aileen quickly opened her eyes upon hearing Theo's words. Then she saw Sejun's handsome face, eyes closed. Since he was still standing, he hadn't passed out. At that moment, swish, Sejun's eyes opened as he felt Aileen's gaze. And then, Aileen, thud. Sejun collapsed, nose bleeding. 12 seconds was Sejun's limit. Still, it was a remarkable improvement. Thanks to the fragment of Fenrir's core absorbed into Sejun's body. However, Kakilahit Kaying. How he tastes good. The only being who could explain this, Fenrir, was safely enjoying dried sweet potato slices inside the void storage. Theo, please take care of Sejun. Aileen Nuna got it, meow. Aileen quickly moved to the administrator's area to avoid causing any trouble for Sejun, entrusting him to Theo. I spent 12 whole seconds with Sejun without him passing out. While Aileen was delighted about spending the longest time with an awake Sejun. Sejun was dreaming happily about going on a picnic with Aileen, Theo, Kyungi, and Fenrir. And then, Hut, Chairman Park, leave it to me, meow. I Vice Chairman Theo will surely fix Chairman Park's ugly face, meow. Squish, squish. Theo pressed his paws on Sejun's face, kneading it earnestly. Whenever Theo saw Aileen's face and then Sejun's face, he always felt a surge of determination. Black Tower, 75th floor. Wandering Merchant Association Chairman's office. A new candidate for the legendary merchant title has appeared after a long time. Mason, the chairman of the Wandering Merchants Association, said joyfully while looking at the documents that had just arrived. List of legendary merchant promotion candidates. Elite Wandering Merchant Theo. Theo had finally met the requirements for the legendary merchant promotion by earning over 10 trillion tower coins. I need to notify him to take the promotion exam. Mason wrote a letter summoning Theo for the legendary merchant promotion exam and sent it via a messenger bird. And then, P.O. I'll deliver that letter. Piot, who happened to have business on the 75th floor of the tower and had a messenger bird license, took the letter addressed to Theo. Since Theo couldn't leave the 99th floor of the tower to help the busy Sejun, Piot had been collecting money with Yurin on behalf of Theo. Of course, the fee was split 50-50. Since Piot wasn't skilled enough to receive money as excellently as Theo yet, so it was gaining experience by collecting small amounts under 10,000 tower coins. Piahidi, I'll work hard to become the excellent right front paw of Theonim. Pio, you're a Nim, let's go see Theonim. Okay. And so Piot, the right front paw, and Urin, the left front paw of Theo, headed to the 99th floor of the tower. Pio, run away. Pio, you're a Nim, that's not the way. Pio, stamp it. Of course, thanks to Urin's misfortune, the journey to the 99th floor was tough. The next morning, what did I really say to invite 20,000 dragons? Yes, Piwahaha, you definitely said so. You said if you got a kiss, you'd increase the number to 20,000. A kiss? Sejun was bewildered by Ramter's words as soon as he woke up. Did I really say that? I definitely drank golden samyangju before bed, and I didn't sleep. Although there were gaps in his memory, he did recall bits and pieces, including the kiss with Aileen. Thinking about the kiss with Aileen made Sejun's face flush red. All right, I understand. Piwahaha, great, thank you, then I'll leave it to you. Refresh. Feeling a bit sorry, Ramter used a healing spell on Sejun and returned to the fountain. Well, I guess I'll have to change my plans a bit. Sejun had originally planned to make fried fish with the fish. As the amount he had to make doubled, he hurriedly changed the menu to spicy fish stew. When increasing the amount, soup is the best. All right, I need red pepper powder first, so I need to harvest the sundried red peppers. Summon Ajax. Hyung, good morning. Sejun, along with Kyungi and Ajax, harvested the sundried red peppers. You have harvested sundried red peppers. Your job experience has increased slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV8 has increased slightly. You have gained 70 experience points. While Sejun was harvesting the sundried red peppers, a small sprout emerged from the ground from the sausage tree seed. And then, Hugh Hut sausage, you've woken up, here, eat this, it's a sapling nutrient. Sparky, who had been waiting for the sausage tree seed to sprout, handed over a tiny nutrient supplement. Sparky was starting early education to become a world tree. Chapter 390, I need to feed him this too. Austin, the capital of Texas, USA. Currently, the city center has become an empty city with no people. No, to be precise. Kika. It has become a city of flesh eaters. Although Peacebees dealt with the flesh eaters, their seeds remained. Neither Flamey nor Peacebees knew that they needed to remove the seeds as well. CIA headquarters meeting room. In the presence of the director and key executives, Robin was reporting the findings of his investigation. We analyzed the satellite images taken when the bat shape was etched into the ground in Austin, but we didn't find anything special. However, analyzing the atmospheric images, we determined that a force suddenly acted at a point 100 meters above Austin. Were there any witnesses who saw the golden bat? At an altitude of 100 meters, there should be witnesses. The director, who was listening to the report, asked. There are no survivors. Then who is the most suspicious entity? The most suspicious is the golden bat that appeared in Harbin, which China claims as their divine beast. In the last section of the report, the analysis department attached a report stating an 87% similarity between the golden bat and the bat shape. So the report suggests that what saved America is China's divine beast. The expression on the director's face, speaking with a sigh, was unusual. The same went for the other executives. What? No, that's not it. The atmosphere grew tense. At that moment, Peter, an agent on his third day of work who had followed Robin, quietly raised his hand. Simultaneously, Robin's face crumpled. Hey, read the room. He had brought the new recruit to the meeting, because there was supposed to be a debrief with the director afterward. With the atmosphere already tense, the moment the newbie added an irrelevant comment, the meeting room's atmosphere would freeze over, turning into the Arctic, and he would be dispatched to the Arctic after getting on the director's bad side. Stay quiet, can't you see the mood? Robin shot laser-like signals at Peter with his eyes, but nod. Peter seemed to take it as encouragement from his mentor, nodding resolutely. And then, take a look at this. He confidently showed the director and CIA executives the screen of the laptop he was using. YouTube, you bastard, you were watching YouTube during the meeting. Robin, who had hoped he had a genius recruit like in the movies, despaired. It was confirmed he was heading to the Arctic. Should I hand in my resignation? While Robin was seriously contemplating, pulling out his resignation letter from his pocket. Currently, it's 5 a.m. This is the 110th day of Miracle Morning. In the meeting room, where everyone was stunned into silence, a video began playing. About 2 minutes into the video, guys, do you see that? Over there on the building rooftop, isn't that the golden bat? The man in the video exclaimed excitedly, filming a rooftop of a building. On the rooftop, a single golden bat was perched on the railing, flapping its wings towards the sky. The video ended with the golden bat holding a black bag and disappearing. What's your name? When the video ended, the director asked for Peter's name. Peter Lee. Peter answered energetically to the director's question. Okay, Peter, I see the golden bat in this video, but why did you show it to us? Because this video is a witness to the Austin incident. Witness? Yes, if you watch the video. Peter continued explaining while watching the video. The golden bat appeared at 5:03 a.m. Seoul time, swung its wings, and at 3:05 p.m. Texas time the bat shape marks appeared. Wait, considering the 14-hour time difference between Seoul and Texas, does that mean it crossed 12,000 km in 2 minutes and dealt with the monsters? The deputy director, listening, checked the time difference on his smartphone and asked in a shocked voice. Yes, to be exact, it's 1 minute and 53 seconds. I couldn't believe it myself, so I found the GPS coordinates of the building in the video and analyzed the direction in which the golden bat swung its wings, and it matches Austin. How is that possible? Where exactly is the location of the building in this video? It's the Hanla building in Gangnam, and it's owned by Park Sejun. Peter, who had already investigated, spoke without hesitation. What Park Sejun? Why is that name coming up here? The CIA executives in the meeting room were all flustered by Peter's report. Park Sejun. Currently, he is a hunter who has a significant influence on Earth by selling crop items, and is known to be the strongest among the hunters. However, it is known that he has never left the tower for everyone's safety since entering it. But now, the golden bat, which China claimed to be their divine beast, appeared on the rooftop of Park Sejun's building. Something is up. Robin, immediately head to Korea with Peter. Go and find out the relationship between the golden bat and Park Sejun. What Korea? Robin, who was listening to Peter's explanation in a daze, answered. Yes, hurry. Yes, we'll leave immediately. Well done, Peter. Robin looked at Peter with admiringly, nodding approvingly, and Peter also nodded back to Robin, who believed in him. 99th floor of the Black Tower. All right, now it's time to dry. Greenhouse. Greenhouse LV-4 is activated. A warm greenhouse is created within a radius of 2 km. Your proficiency of Greenhouse LV-4 increases. Sejun used the greenhouse skill to make the sun-dried red peppers as if they were in a vinyl greenhouse. Since there were only 2 days left until the dragon's meeting, there was no time to air-dry the sun-dried red peppers naturally. Kyungi, gently blow some wind inside here. Kyung. Understood. Sejun instructed Kyungi to blow wind inside the greenhouse. Wind was necessary for drying. After a few hours of drying the sun-dried red peppers, crackle. They were so dry that they crumbled at a slight touch. Good, Iona, please grind this. Kaiwat, Kaiwat, Kaiwat. Sure, power of the wind crush my enemies, tornado. With Iona's magic, the sun-dried red peppers were finely ground, and the red powder was stored in Sejun's void storage through Iona's magic. At that moment, Kelkelkel, Sejunum, I have finished making the Garydiox. Do you have any other tasks for me? Auric, who had made Garydiox with other tower farmers, hurriedly ran over to report, trying to regain the points he lost to Sejun yesterday. Good job, take a break for a while. Kelkelkel, yes. When Auric left, the porridge was complete. The Garydiox were complete. The Samyangju was complete. The grape wine would be opened on the day of the event. Sejun checked the current situation. Now, I just need to cut the fruits for dessert and cook the spicy fish stew, and we're done. It seemed like everything would be almost finished by tomorrow morning. At that moment, Kyuiha. Grrr. Kyungi's stomach made a loud noise as he was proudly looking at the paper with 5-star stamps he had received from Sejun. It was lunchtime. It's time to eat. The most convenient thing was the freshly made Garydiox, so Sejun decided to make soy sauce tteokbokki for the first time in a while. Using the soy sauce he had brewed himself. Finally, yesterday, the soy sauce and soybean paste were completed. Normally, it would have taken a long time, but thanks to the fermentation skill, it was completed sooner. Wow, Hyunum, you're making soy sauce tteokbokki. Guys, this is really delicious. You guys haven't tried it, right? I've had it before. Ajax, who had already tasted it before, boasted about the taste of soy sauce tteokbokki to the other tower farmers. While Ajax was chattering away, everyone, let's eat. Sejun called his companions after making the soy sauce tteokbokki. And then, Kyueha Kyung. Hehe, it's delicious. Hehe, as expected of Sejun Hyung. As expected, Sejun Nim's cooking. This is really good, but I still prefer Sejunim's steamed potatoes. Kelkelkel, it's truly delicious. In that spirit, next time I'll make rice cakes with goblin vision. No thanks. Everyone started eating the soy sauce tteokbokki, showering Sejun's cooking with praise. Kaying. Hey, what about my food? You seem to be neglecting me lately. Fenrir, feeling neglected because Sejun had been busy preparing for the dragon's meeting, complained. I know. I have food for you too, Blackie here. Sejun finally chopped the soy sauce tteokbokki to make it easier for Fenrir to eat and put it in his bowl. Chomp. Delicious. Fenrir, who had been whining just a moment ago, quieted down after eating the soy sauce tteokbokki. The feelings of neglect melted away along with the soy sauce tteokbokki in his mouth. Having taken care of Fenrir's meal as well. I'll eat it spicy. Craving a spicy flavor, Sejun sprinkled the pepper powder made from sun-dried red peppers on his tteokbokki and ate it. Then, you have consumed sun-dried red pepper powder. If exposed to light for 1 minute, one of your stats will randomly increase by 0.0002. Messages appeared. After 1 minute, you have received enough light. Your strength stat has increased by 0.0002. Sejun's stats began to increase as he sat quietly, absorbing the light. Although the increase was small, gaining stats while eating delicious food was practically a bonus. Your soul is filled with the outpouring of praise. Your mental strength increases by 3. His mental strength also increased. Today's lunch was satisfying. Sejun chuckled happily as he ground coffee beans to make coffee. Pio. Hello, Sejun Nim. Hello. Piat and Urin appeared. Pio. Theonim a letter. Piat, sitting on Sejun's knee, handed a letter from the Wandering Merchant Association to Theo, who was grooming himself. Meow, who sent this, meow? Theo, who had never received a letter before, read the letter with a puzzled look. And then, Pew Hugh Hud. Pew Hugh Hud. Theo kept laughing as he read the letter. Vice Chairman Theo, what's in the letter? Sejun, who became curious about the contents of the letter seeing Theo like that, asked. Pew Hugh Hut. Chairman Park, the Wandering Merchant Association has invited me, Vice Chairman Theo, to take the Legendary Merchant Promotion Exam, meow. Legendary Merchant. Pew Hugh Hut, that's right, meow. Theo said in a smug voice. Starting as a novice wandering merchant, I am finally about to become a legendary merchant, meow. Chairman Park must also be a part of this glorious moment, meow. Theo thought about getting the land deed for the 75th floor of the tower, so that he can go to the Wandering Merchant Association headquarters with Sejun. And he imagined himself becoming a legendary merchant while receiving congratulations from Sejun. Pew Hugh Hut, just thinking about it makes me excited, meow. About what? It's something like that, meow. Chairman Park, I'll be back after a quick trip down, meow. Okay, got it. Oh, by the way, if you come across the land deed for the 68th floor of the tower, bring it back too. Sejun asked Theo, since Aileen mentioned sensing the power of destruction on the 68th floor. Understood, meow. Piat Urin, let's go, meow. Have a safe trip. While Sejun was seeing Theo off. K Kivit Kaying. Hee, I've figured it out. Fenrir had a great realization. Kaying. Since receiving my core, the butler's food has gotten tastier. So if I give more of my core, the food will get even tastier, right? Fenrir was mistaken. Sejun simply made the food he wanted to, and it just happened to suit Fenrir's taste. However, Fenrir, who considered himself a clever wolf, believed he couldn't be wrong. And then, Kivit Kaying. I need to feed him this too. Holding the 1% core fragment that Sejun had given him to play with as a toy, Fenrir began to look for an opportunity to put the core fragment into Sejun's mouth. Swallowing a core fragment beyond one's capacity would be incredibly painful. But, Kaying, Blackie, why are you trying to put this thing with your saliva on it into my mouth? He failed.